Adbn, a part of you.
Good morning and welcome to Adbn News at 7. I am Sifon Ode. Let's begin with news that President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening its partnership with Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, following the organization's pledge of more than $500 million to support the country's immunization program over the next 5 years. Speaking while receiving a Gavi delegation led by Chief Executive Officer Dr. Sanya Nishta at the presidential villa in Abuja, Tinubu described the alliance as a key partner in improving immunization coverage and expanding local vaccine production. The president said Nigeria remains committed to protecting the health of its citizens and developing Africa's vaccine manufacturing capacity. He further commended the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, for ongoing reforms in the health sector.
Poverty is only not acceptable. And through education, dedication, and patriotism, we can conquer poverty. And we will do so. We can live a healthy life, paying attention to science and those who are behind it and funding it. Thank you. Thank your organization for dedication, commitment to humanity.
Earlier, Dr. Nishta praised President Tinubu's leadership, noting that Nigeria has implemented significant macroeconomic and health sector reforms under his administration.
Under your leadership, your country has seen significant macroeconomic and health sector reforms. You have been an excellent champion for global health in your African Union ambassadorial capacity. Nigeria has a very salient role in the health sector. Whether it is the primary healthcare revitalization, as a result of which your primary healthcare setup has seen a fourfold increase in utilization. I'm sure you're aware that your country has the honor of doing the largest campaign, immunization campaign, ever in the world for the first time.
Away from that, the federal government has urged Nigerian students to embrace artificial intelligence, coding, robotics, and other digital skills to prepare for opportunities in the global knowledge economy. The call was made during the renewed Hope Student Engagement and Digital Acceleration Program for the Southeast Zone at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus, where selected students received laptops to support digital learning and innovation. Representing the Lab Innovation, Science and Technology, Dr. Kingsley Ude, Dr. Ijomeze said the Tinubu administration is committed to building a globally competitive, innovation-driven and technology-powered economy through education and digital development. The government highlighted initiatives such as NELFund, HOPEDU, Technical and Vocational Education and Training, Universal Basic Education, and the Nigeria Learning Passport as key reforms aimed at empowering young Nigerians through education and technology. Meanwhile, the federal government says it is strengthening the Safe School initiative through closer collaboration with security agencies as the Ministry of Education seeks to take over management of programs funds from the Ministry of Finance. And speaking after appearing before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the Safe School initiative, Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa said the ministry is working with the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Armed Forces, the Nigeria Police Force, the DSS and other agencies to develop a comprehensive school safety program. Alausa said the Ministry of Education has established a dedicated Safe Schools department and is best positioned to coordinate implementation nationwide. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy said existing laws empower the Finance Ministry to manage intervention funds, adding that any administrative issues would be resolved.
The only disbursement that happened probably in the last 3 years ago was the targeted disbursement that was given to the police, Nigeria Police Force, the National Civil Defense Corps, and I believe a bit of that money went to one of the other armed forces units. But those disbursements were done entirely by the Foreign Ministry of Finance. That, for us in the Federal Ministry of Education, I think we got a bit of a targeted funding, which we can account for that when we go into a private meeting.
On our part, we are committed to transparency. We are committed to working with the National Assembly to try and address any issues that we may find. Whether those issues happen before my appointment or not, I think is secondary, like Your Excellency rightly noted, because government is a continuum.
The Senate committee said its probe is aimed at improving accountability and the effective implementation of the initiative nationwide.
Implementation of funding, operational efficiency of the Safe Schools Initiative SSA program. However, in the course of our preliminary engagement and documents review, the Senate observed critical interdependencies across the federal funding channel targeting education, security, and safety nets. Consequently, the Senate in a preliminary resolved to expand our mandates to conduct comprehensive evaluation of financial flows, operational bottlenecks, accountability, and structure across the concerned ministries and agencies of government.
To security matters, personnel of the Nigerian Army have been urged to remain law-abiding, uphold professionalism, and maintain the high standards and discipline that define their code of conduct. The charge was given by General Officer Commanding 6th Division Major General Evarist Okoro during an inspection visit to 6th Battalion Barracks in Ibawa, a back local government area of Kwibam State. Major General Okoro, who recently assumed command from Major General Emmanuel Emeka, inspected key facilities within the barracks, including the quarter guard, parade ground, ICT training center, medical center, laboratory, and other operational facilities. He commended the troops for their dedication and resilience in safeguarding the division's area of responsibility and the nation, stressing that lasting security can only be achieved through coordinated teamwork and unwavering commitments.
It is our duty, first and foremost, as soldiers. We have been called to service, and our job is to ensure that we protect our citizens, law-abiding citizens of the state. And I'm very happy to note that you have done that job, and you have done that job very well. So I'm just here to encourage you and to tell you to keep up the effort, do not relent. Our job, no doubt, is a tough one, but we have been trained for it. We have all been trained for it, and we wear this uniform with pride. It is a job that we have all voluntarily taken up upon ourselves, and we must continue to ensure that we do that job to the best of our ability. I want you, as my officers and men, to remain professional at all times.
The General Officer Commanding also assured personnel that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidu Shaibu, remains committed to improving their welfare and providing additional incentives to enhance the well-being of soldiers and their families.
Much is being done to improve on your welfare. The Chief of Army Staff is doing a lot to improve on the welfare and the well-being of all of us. So, what we have to do in return is by remaining very diligent and dedicated and disciplined in what we do. In the coming days, the coming months, you begin to see a lot of interventions by way of improvement in your welfare issues that will be coming your way. So I want all of you to stay motivated, all right? Remain motivated.
Was attended by the Commander 2 Brigade, Brigadier General Nabweze Okolag, Lieutenant Colonel Ezekiel Young, and other senior military officers. The Nigerian military says its troops neutralized over 102 terrorists and other criminal elements, arrested 345 suspects, and rescued 393 kidnapped victims during nationwide operations conducted in July. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Noja, said the operations carried out with other security agencies and local vigilantes. The operations also led to the surrender of 57 insurgents and their family members, while troops recovered 59 weapons and 1,811 rounds of ammunition. According to the military, sustained offensive across the northeast, northwest, north central, south, and southeast weakened the activities of terrorists, kidnappers, armed militias, secessionist groups, and other criminal elements.
On the 12th of this month, troops countered a Boko Haram ISWAP attack in Kukawa local government area of Borno State. In the process, they neutralized Abu Salim al-Barnawi, a senior terrorist commander and propaganda chief, which has dealt a significant blow to the insurgents' leadership and information network. Troops of Operation Hadinkai sustained intensive offensive operations against Boko Haram and ISWAP and Jazz terrorists in Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, and Yobe states during the month. Troops were able to neutralize 54 terrorist fighters, arrested 102 terrorists, rescued 102 kidnapped victims, and facilitated the surrender of 57 insurgents and their families.
That Operation Fasanyama rescued 191 kidnapped victims, neutralized 83 terrorists, and arrested 66 suspects in the northwest, while troops sustained operations against kidnappers and armed groups in the north central, leading to more arrests, rescues, and the recovery of weapons. And still on security, the federal government, through the Office of the National Security Advisor, has destroyed 2,819 illegal and decommissioned small arms and light weapons, bringing the total number of legal weapons permanently removed from circulation to nearly 19,000. The National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, said this in Abuja during the destruction exercise conducted by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Represented by the administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Dr. Dennis Otuaru, Ribadu said the proliferation of illegal arms continues to fuel terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, communal clashes, and other violent crimes.
And other security services, and every weapon that eventually finds its way into an exercise such as this represents a threat permanently neutralized. It is worth emphasizing that recovery alone is not enough. Weapons that are seized but poorly tracked, 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 but poorly tracked.
Intelligence from members of the public led to the recovery of these items across Maitama, Gariki, Durumi, Jabi, Apo Legislative, Lugbe, and Nyanya. 5 suspects were arrested in connection with the recoveries, while the police says the exhibit will be handed over to the FCT administration for reinstallation.
I want to use this opportunity to send a clear warning to all purchasers, receivers, and dealers in stolen public infrastructure that the FCT Police Command is coming after them. We have commenced extensive investigations and will not relent until every link in the supply, distribution, and disposal chain of these stolen public assets is identified and brought to justice.
The command also uncovered a network involved in the production and supply of unauthorized official and diplomatic number plates.
Our investigation uncovered not only the unauthorized users of these license plate numbers, but also the production and supply chain through which they were obtained. Before you are the license plate numbers and diplomatic license plate numbers confiscated across various areas of the FCT. The suspects from whom these plate numbers were recovered are currently in custody and will be charged to court upon the conclusion of investigation. However, a few such vehicles are displayed over there for your observation.
Behind me are some of the recent items, including solar street lights, manhole covers, armored cables, among others. The FCT Police Command said it will not relent in its effort to rid the nation's capital of criminal elements and ensure the safety of residents. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, Adbn News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has ordered the FCT Department of Development Control to demolish shanties and an illegal settlement close to Kagabjiji in Kuwaba District, Abuja. Barrister Wike gave the order when he led security operatives to the settlement, a suspected criminal hideout, after the FCT Security Committee meeting on Friday. He explained that the directive was part of an effort to strengthen security in the nation's capital. FCT correspondent Naomi Olaribe has details.
The Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, started his day with an inspection of ongoing projects in the FCT. He visited the access road to the FCT Fire Service Station in Kaura District, from Ring Road 2 to Oladipo Diya Way in Gaduwa District, Abuja, where he gave his observations on the pace of work.
But we're happy with the job they've carried out, and we are going back to see that payment is made to them so they can expedite action. But this road is very key, it's very important. You can see that at the end of the day, when it is completed, it will change the topography, the landscape of this area. And the direct beneficiaries, the real estate developers, anywhere they see road down, you can see buildings coming up.
After the inspection, he proceeded to his official residence in Life Camp, where he met with security operatives, including the army and the police, to review the security situation in Abuja. Barrister Wike later led the security team to Kukaba District in Abuja, where he said intelligence reports indicated that suspected criminals often retreated to the settlement after carrying out attacks in parts of the FCT.
What you do there before this place is this security you have to put them out. You can have this apart from what you have from there. And the security man don't allow it, nobody will allow this. So thank you.
Barrister Wike stressed that anyone found using such locations to aid criminal activities would face the full weight of the law. According to the minister, the demolition is part of ongoing efforts by the FCT administration to dismantle criminal enclaves, improve public safety, and protect residents. He reaffirmed the administration's commitment to sustaining security operations across the territory, noting that the safety of lives and property remain a top priority. Naomi Oleribe, Adbn News.
Drivers have been urged to adopt defensive driving by engaging all 5 senses while on the road to help prevent crashes and save lives. The call was made during a road organized by the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC, FCC Sector Command, in collaboration with the Junior Chamber International. The campaign featured a road walk from the FRSC headquarters through Beja roundabout to Area 3 Motor Park, where officials educated motorists on safe driving practices and conducted free eye screening for drivers. The FCT Sector Command, Tijani Iliasu, represented by Linda Walker, outlined key safety measures drivers should observe to reduce road crashes and ensure safer roads.
Skills that a defensive driver has to cultivate. Some skills, starting from the awareness stage. You are embarking on a journey. A journey is like leaving your house to your office or to your workplace or to your business place, wherever it is that you are moving to. From moving to point A to point B, you should be aware that I want to embark on this journey. How am I going to get there? How many minutes or hours will it take me? How do I go about it? Do I enter public transport or I am to drive? If I'm driving, what is the situation? What is the condition of my vehicle? You should be able to know that.
Director of LifeSpring, who coordinated the free eye screening, stressed the importance of regular eye checks, noting that good vision is essential for safe driving and accident prevention.
Skills that a defensive driver has to cultivate. Some skills, starting from the awareness stage. You are embarking on a journey. A journey is like leaving your house to your office or to your workplace or to your business place, wherever it is that you are moving to. From moving to point A to point B, you should be aware that I want to embark on this journey. How am I going to get there? How many minutes or hours will it take me? How do I do?
And watching Adbn News at 7. Stay with us for more stories after the break. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Several communities in Ika local government area, Akwa Ibom State, have received a major boost in infrastructure and social development with the inauguration of projects facilitated by the President of the 10th Senate Council, Akpabio. The Senate President was represented at the event on Friday by his wife, Dr. Unoma Akpabio. Adbn correspondent Silas reports.
The day's activities began with a courtesy visit to the paramount ruler of Ika local government area, His Royal Majesty Edidem Joseph Okosi, where the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, represented by his wife Dr. Onoma Akpabio, received royal blessings before proceeding to inaugurate the project. Classroom blocks at Ika Comprehensive High School, Ikorokpanawa, and St. Augustine Secondary School, Uruanyang, an ICT Center for Youth at the Ika Council Secretariat, the Ika Ikoriwang, Ikoroyo Rural Farming Road, and other community development projects. Speaking during the inauguration, Dr. Onoma Akpabio said the interventions reflect the Senate President's commitment to improving access to quality education, expanding digital opportunities for young people, and providing infrastructure that will enhance the well-being of the people.
We can't talk about election here. We can't talk about campaign. We can only talk about increasing our numbers for the Senate President, for our President first of all, and Bola Tinubu, GCFR. The chairman has reassured us again that no vote will be lost in Ika. I can only pray that continue to be as peaceful as you are. Women remain peaceful. The youth remain peaceful. Our traditional institutions, let them remain peaceful. Let brothers remain peaceful. The chairman of the council has equally told me that we will never see any blood.
The chairman of Ika Local Government Council, Barrister Utebe Nwoko, commended the Senate President for attracting impactful projects to the area.
He gave us a route. Now we took the route to Ikorodo, commencing from Orania, and then it goes close, so people know what I'm talking about. And took to Ikorodo. The idea was to go and get the place into Ika local government. Now you know what you have thought about that place. Today, by the grace of God and the magnanimity of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Mo Basi in PhD, the road extended even beyond that place that we stopped in 2018, 2019, to where we are today. But I must also thank the governor who collaborated with the governor of Adbn State, Governor Oti, and they thought, no, he can extend to this part and live as brothers.
Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, the principal of Ika Comprehensive High School, Mrs. Umoetenkam, lauded the interventions.
Senate President, on behalf of the management staff and students of Ika Comprehensive High School, Ikorokpanawa, I welcome you to this great school that has produced many dignified sons and daughters of our great country.
Developmental projects spread across Ika local government area, courtesy of the Senate President, if well harnessed, will improve the life of the people of the area. Emmanuel Silas, Adbn News.
Away from that, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor George Amopitan, has assured residents of Osun State that the winner of the August 15 governorship election will emerge through the ballot and not violence. Speaking during a council visit to the Ataja of Oshogbo, Oba Jimo Ayatunji, Amopitan described the poll as a crucial test ahead of the 2027 general elections and reaffirmed INEC's commitment to conducting a credible election. He said the commission was working closely with the police, the Ministry of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, and other security agencies to ensure adequate deployment and a peaceful electoral process. In his response, the Atauja of Oshogbo urged INEC to uphold the integrity of the election by conducting a free, fair, and credible governorship poll. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has registered 131,165 new voters following the conclusion of the continuous voter registration exercise in Edo State. INEC also recorded 52,907 voter transfers to new polling units and processed 19,565 requests for changes to names, dates of birth, gender, addresses, and other personal details during the exercise, which ran from August 25 to July 2026. According to the Commission, Awan West local government area recorded the lowest number of new registrations with 3,393 voters, while Ovia North East and Oredo registered 11,613 and 9,544 new voters, respectively. Report added that the INEC state office recorded the highest number of registrations with 11,747 new voters during the exercise. The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN, has sealed 383 pharmaceutical premises across Ogun State over regulatory violations, including operating without valid licenses, poor drug storage, and running illegal medicine outlets. The enforcement exercise covered 11 local government areas where inspectors visited 738 pharmaceutical premises, including pharmacies, patent and proprietary medicine vendor stores, and unregistered drug outlets. Head of the PCN Enforcement Department, Dr. Suleiman Chiroma, said the operation was conducted in line with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Act 2022 to enforce compliance with the National Drug Distribution Guidelines and sanitize the country's drug distribution system. The council said illegal drug outlets undermine the regulated distribution framework and increase the circulation of substandard, falsified and diverted medicines, posing serious risk to public health. To business matters now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL Limited, recorded a profit after tax of 535 billion naira in June 2026, representing a 15.8% increase from the 462 billion naira posted in May. According to the company's June 2026 financial operations report, total revenue stood at 4.389 trillion naira, while cumulative statutory payment to the Federation between January and June rose to 6.286 trillion naira, reflecting its continued contribution to national revenue. The report showed that average crude oil and condensate production dipped slightly to 1.72 million barrels per day from 1.73 million barrels per day in May due to operational disruptions, facility integrity issues, and subsurface challenges. However, natural gas production increased by 0.86% to 7.841 million standard cubic feet per day, continuing the company's steady growth in gas output. Also, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has warned that differing regulatory standards across Nigeria's emerging state electricity market could create uncertainty for investors and weaken consumer protection. The Commission urged stronger collaboration between federal and state electricity regulators to ensure a harmonized consumer protection framework as Electricity Act 2023 is implemented nationwide. Chief Executive Officer of FCCPC, Tunji Bello, met the call during a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, attended by officials of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, and state electricity regulators. Bello described the Electricity Act 2023 as a major reform that empowers states to establish independent electricity regulatory commission, stressing that its success depends on effective cooperation among regulators to deliver a seamless experience for electricity consumers.
Obsolete meter intervention illustrates an important principle. The Commission respected AERC's statutory mandate and recognized its technical expertise. We did not seek to assume the role of the sector regulator. Instead, we acted in a way that supported the existing regulatory framework and strengthened its effectiveness. In my view, this is what modern regulatory governance requires. Institutions should understand and respect their respective mandates, communicate openly, support one another in the exchange of their lawful responsibilities, and work together to protect the interests of consumers.
The newly appointed Registrar of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Segun Aina, has vowed to intensify the fight against examination malpractice, warning fraud syndicate, impersonators, certificate forgers, and other offenders that they will face the full weight of the law. Now, speaking during the handover ceremony at the JAMB headquarters in Abuja, Professor Aina pledged to safeguard the integrity of Nigeria's tertiary admission process by deploying advanced technology, stronger administrative measures, and closer collaboration with security agencies.
To those who engage in cybercrime, extortion, bribery, identity theft, or any other sharp practice designed to undermine the integrity of our examinations and its admissions process, hear me clearly. Your business is with the wrong institution. JAMB will continue to deploy every lawful technological and administrative and investigative measure available to detect, deter, and prosecute examination malpractice and every other form of fraud against the board. We will continue to strengthen our partnerships with law enforcement systems. We will invest in stronger technology, we will learn from global best practice, and we will ensure that those who seek to outsmart the system increasingly find themselves outmatched by it. The future belongs to those who prepare, not those who cheat.
For Professor Ishaq Olayede, whose decade-long tenure transformed JAMB through far-reaching technological and administrative reforms, his greatest accomplishment was leaving the institution stronger than he met it.
My belief is that the advantage of the vibrancy of his younger age and his ICT expertise will propel the board to higher heights than previously attained. He can rest assured of my advice as and when it is required. As I said at the beginning of this month, during a joint engagement, my allusion to the surgeon, who is only congratulated after a surgery, was made at the beginning of my stewardship to deflect from receiving congratulatory messages.
As Nigeria joins other African nations to celebrate the Pan-African Women's Day for the first time, the need to remove barriers facing African women striving for leadership roles has been emphasized. The celebration, which featured various pre-event dialogues centered around increased participation of women in nation building, with a grand finale hosted at the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, saw calls from stakeholders for women to carry the men along in their activities. Francisco Aga tells us more.
We are at the Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, where for the very first time, Nigeria is hosting a celebration to mark the International Pan-African Women's Day. The Pan-African Women's Organization, Africa's first collective women's body, born a year before the Organization of African Unity, proclaimed July 31st a day to honor women in 1962. For the first time, Nigeria is celebrating the day on a national level and has resolved to do so annually from now. Speaking at the event, which brought together leaders at different levels, the Minister of Women Affairs, in her speech, stressed the need to focus on addressing all the barriers to leadership facing women.
Because of challenges, we forget how far we've come in Africa, but we have come a long way. We forget the stories of Queen Amina of Zazzau.
In her keynote address, Dr. Leslie Titilayo highlighted the peculiar strength of the African women, citing examples of women who had excelled in their various endeavors.
One of the things that United Nations has found is that one of the key indicators of a country's success is the extent to which it gives opportunities to women. And what it's also shown is that investments in women are automatic multipliers. That is, when you invest in a woman is more likely to invest that money in taking care of extended family.
The Director General, Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development, Dr. Adedayo Benjamin Slani, also called on women to heed the call in the team, rise in one voice, and work for a better deal for women.
This is not about having so many people. That will happen next year. But it was important to create a signature event. And now it's happened. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Burundi, has come here. His president is the AU president.
We really appreciate even the theme of today was very, 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 very important, very relevant in our political context. One voice, one legacy. We have to speak one voice, even women and men. So we are very happy to be here. And as African, we are really proud of this organization. Thank you.
Jacob. The theme for this year's celebration is African Women. We rise as one, our voice, our legacy, our Africa. Francisca Oga, ADBN News.
You're watching ADBN News at 7. Stay with us for more stories after the break. In entertainment news, Grammy-winning Nigerian singer Burna Boy has overtaken fellow Nigerian star Wizkid to become the best-selling African artist of all time in the modern streaming era. According to global music tracking platform Chartmasters, Burna Boy has recorded more than 14.46 million global equivalent album sales, narrowly surpassing Wizkid's 14.4 million consumption units. Despite the streaming milestone, Cape Khaled remains Africa's overall best-selling artist in traditional physical and career record sales, with an estimated 81 million records sold worldwide. Burna Boy also achieved another milestone by becoming the first African artist to surpass 800 million monthly listeners on YouTube Music. In the Farantin, about 60,000 migrants crossed from Morocco into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta, leaving at least 57 people dead, as according to the report from the local media. And Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez blamed human trafficking gangs for the mass crossing, describing it as a violation of Spain's territorial integrity. In response, Italy suspended its border-free shuttle arrangements with Spain. The search followed a ruling by Spain's Supreme Court that migrants intercepted at sea while attempting to reach Ceuta or Melilla cannot be summarily returned to Morocco. At least 27 people have been killed and dozens injured after a passenger bus plunged into a ravine near the coastal town of Bumades, east of the capital, Algiers. Algiers Civil Defense Agency said the bus veered off the road for unknown reasons, with emergency responders arriving at the scene shortly after the crash on Friday morning. The accident is the deadliest road crash recorded in Algeria in recent years. Previous major bus accident claimed 18 lives near Algiers in August last year and 14 lives in the Beja region in December. According to Algerian road safety authorities, human factors, including speeding, remain the leading cause of road accidents. In 2025, the country recorded 3,838 road deaths and more than 37,000 injuries. FIFA President Gianni Infantino says he has scrapped the controversial plan to sell off stakes in the governing body's major competitions following widespread opposition. Infantino said it had become clear the project had created divisions that are no longer in the interest of its original objective. The Swiss official added that as a result, the proposal will not proceed. Infantino had offered all 211 member associations $40 million if they backed a proposal for private investment in its tournaments, including the men's and women's World Cups. European football's 55 member associations UEFA voted on Thursday to boycott World Cup if the plans went ahead. Still in sport, Ezekiel Nathaniel has made history by becoming the first Nigerian to win the men's 400 meters hurdles title at the Commonwealth Games. The 23-year-old produced a superb performance in the final in Glasgow, Scotland, crossing the line in 48.47 seconds to claim the gold medal. Before Nathaniel's historic triumph, the closest Nigeria had come to winning the event was in 1966, when Kingsley Akpagboka claimed the silver medal in what was then contested as a 440-yard hurdles. Nathaniel's victory further strengthens Team Nigeria's impressive campaign in Glasgow. Nigeria's medal tally now stands at 9 gold, 6 silver, and 3 bronze medals, taking the country's overall total to 18 medals. But that's it on ADBN TV News. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258 and Star Times channel 140, Avo TV app, Limexwell TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at www.adbntv.com. You can also watch live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Sifanode, thanking you for watching. Good morning.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. Adbn. A part of you.
Every day across forests, highways, towns, brave men and women stand watch. Nigeria can sleep. They leave behind, confront danger head-on, and make sacrifices many of us will never see. Yet, the enemies of our nation continue their assault. They target our children, murder innocent citizens. They force attack on their homes. They turn thriving communities into places of fear and uncertainty. Their goal is simple: to break our spirit, divide our people, and steal the future of our nation. But Nigeria is stronger than terror. As we demand greater accountability, stronger security measures, and more effective action from those entrusted with our safety, we must also play our part. Support our security forces. Salute their gallantry. Stand with those who stand for us. If you see something, say something. Let us be our brother's keeper. We must never surrender to fear or hopelessness. This is not the time for division, not by tribe, not by religion, not by region, not by political party. Because terror recognizes no ethnicity, no faith, and no ideology. Its enemy is all of us. And together, united as one people, we can defeat it. For our children, for our communities, for our future, for Nigeria. Join the movement. Stand for our country. Stand for one another. Hashtag Unite Against Terror.
In this complexity, diversity, we shall thrive, live, rejoice, and be good to all of us as humanity. And that is what we're doing. Yes, I've seen that the challenges are there. I inherited it. I didn't run away. I asked for this job. I'm in it. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. INEC, you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. Equal opponents are crying wolves. Maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. But to me, I return all the mission schools as the governor of Lagos State. One of you, Cardinal Koge, and is alive to testify to that, happened to be one of the best friends that I have. But the schools in the states, preach to them, the governors of your states. They do the job. There's no need for constitutional amendment for that. That is a part of democracy. Choice. And the Land Use Act is there to give you the opportunity to build more schools. To me, I believe in what you believe. The fact that we should all embrace education to get out of poverty. But we are breaking the shackle of ignorance. NELFund is doing wonders to our children. They are even earning stipend while they are in the universities. And I've approved requests of new universities and others. And
National University Commission, we have to take the statistics of the admissions that they have and the investment required to build new universities before we start to enlarge the course.
Established that the so-called letter of appointment was fake, confirmed by different agencies, and the act presented to the head of service was equally fake, forged by the DG. It has been established. Now there is a letter that equally led the Office of the Accountant General requesting for administrative court, written by the same fake DG, seek or avail us a court, a reproduction warrant, sir, for us to be able to produce him.
The permanent secretary state house exists. It is not fake, sir.
But the Department of Administration and Support Service does not exist.
Honorable Chairman, sir, let me clarify that if a letter is coming to Accountant General's office and it says, attention, Director of Federal Project, even if that department doesn't exist, the letter must first come to Accountant General. So letter must first go to Permanent Secretary State House. So the idea is, if this office does not exist, it is unraveled.
That we want you to okay, so you have there that have signature of political staff.
One, and then the one you gave.
Okay. Are the signatures the same?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm not a forensic expert, but I can clearly see that the signatures are not the same.
We are committed towards a well-defined and clear legislation in a bid to resolve all issues to ensure stability. A technical committee is drafting the legislation and amendment.
Following, NMDPRA published practical operation stock guidelines under Section 182 of the PIA, including how stock will be measured, reported, quality assured, and assessed for accessibility. Such guidelines should recognize the real benefit of stock and its ability to be safely released.
Strengthen domestic refining while preserving healthy market competition. 2. Ensure direct, equitable access by marketers to locally refined petroleum products.
Local mining is really necessary in the country. The government of Nigeria, however, must retain the regulatory control to decide when it should allow imports, where imports serve the country's interest best.
As the Supervising Minister of DACON, I assure you of the federal government's continued support for DACON and this institution in line with the New Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. GCFR will continue to provide the necessary support, enabling environment, policy direction, and the resources to ensure that DACON and the Institute deliver on their mandates. This Institute is a legacy project conceived with a vision of equipping our nation with the needed technical expertise required to design, develop, and sustain the platform and system that guarantee our national security. We have completely relied on foreign sources for critical defense capability. With its attendant consequences, the establishment of the DACON Institution of Technology is therefore one of the deliberate steps to change that narrative. The management and academic staff of DACON Institute of Technology, I charge you to strive to make it a center of excellence, to drive innovation. Let this institution become the hub where ideas are turned into products that will serve the best interests of our nation, Nigeria.
The future of Lagos cannot be built on unplanned expansion. It must be built on a deliberate planning, appropriate infrastructure, secure communities, and opportunities for our people to prosper. This is why the development plan for Itomo and adjoining community is so important. It provides a framework for guiding growth in a rapidly developing part of Lagos, ensuring that residential, commercial, and industrial, and institutional and recreational land use are properly integrated so that infrastructure can be effectively divided, investment can flourish, and residents can enjoy the quality of life today and in the future. This is consistent with the vision of our Teams Plus agenda and our commitment to Lagos that is more inclusive, that is more resilient, and a Lagos that is sustainable and is globally. As Lagos continues to expand and attract people, attract business investment, we must ensure that it's not simply how much we build, but how we plan, how fairly we develop, and how many people we carry along.
We are fulfilling a promise made in year 2020 by the Lagos State Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. I'm delighted that this commitment has now come to fruition with this land allocation as to the 90 communities identified within the project area during the planning phase. I congratulate all the beneficiaries and would also like all to continue working hand in hand with the stakeholders to ensure implementation of the development plan area. Together we can build a well-planned and prosperous new that will benefit present and future generations.
Who won the gold medal in 1 kg category. The Executive Council is glad these are products of the last festival hosted. Details of the program comprises youth skills acquisition program, training and startup packs provision, women creative business support, traders grant,
and in line with the promise of His Excellency to award 1 billion naira is the amount for each of the local governments. And I meant basically to reduce poverty, promote economic coordination of our people.
That's what we're doing in terms of reforms. We're tackling reforms from different pillars. We're looking at effective governance, we're looking at human resources for health, under effective governance, as part of effective governance over the establishment laws for the Akwa Ibom State Ambulance Agencies.
In the state, with overall well-being of our people. We believe that Mr. President is aware that the Holy Father Pope Leo holds our country very close to his heart and constantly prays for us. During our visit to him in March this year, he was quite enthusiastic about a visit to Nigeria on a date in the future. As you know, sir, that will only happen if you invite him. We request that this be done soon. Our land and its people will benefit immensely from his presence and blessings. Number 9, 2 particular requests. Mr. President, we respectfully place 2 specific requests before Your Excellency. First, we ask that Your Excellency give favorable consideration to the request on the return of mission schools to their original proprietors. We recall that this matter was raised during our meeting with you last year, and we remain hopeful that your government will take the necessary towards its implementation. Second, in the light of the Supreme Court judgment of 10 February 2020, affirming the constitutional right of Muslim students at Rivers State University to freedom of religion and worship, we respectfully request that Your Excellency direct the appropriate ministries, the agencies of government, to ensure that this same constitutional principle is faithfully implemented throughout the Federation.
Those State Task Force Commander will always say, if you see something, say something. So I believe on that his principle, so many persons have started to believe in him, that whenever they see any information, no matter how thin or little it is, to his attention, which they did. The ban on ticketing by the Edo State government remain intact, and the Edo State Task Force will go to enforce this ban. So if there is out engaging in illegal collection out there, the Task Force will come for you.
DG Daikon, I pledge that this will be fully integrated into the cost drive to nucleus defense into put on the factory floor and in the field. For the Daikon Institute of Technology to become Africa's foremost center of excellence for defense technology education, applied research and innovation, an institution recognized for producing graduates whose competence, character, and creativity strengthen Nigeria's defense industrial capability and contribute to national development.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shake nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. Adbn. A part of you.
Did you know the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) permanent voter cards across Osun State from Wednesday, the 22nd of July 2026, the governorship election on Saturday, the 15th of August 2026. According to the Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, the exercises for newly registered voters, citizens who apply for a transfer of their voter registration, also requested replacement of lost or damaged PVCs, as well as voters who are yet to collect their cards from previous registration exercises. PVC distribution will begin at registration area centers from Wednesday, of July, before moving to INEC local government area offices from Wednesday, the 29th of July to Friday, the 7th of August, 9 a.m. p.m. daily, including remember, PVC collection is strictly personal. No one can collect your card on your behalf, and without your PVC, you cannot be accredited or vote on election day. As Osun prepares to elect its next governor and deputy governor, visit your designated PVC collection center before the deadline. Collect your permanent voter cards and take your place in deciding the future on Saturday, the 15th of August, 2026. Get your PVC. Put your vote.
Stated on our latest series of voter education on the Adbn Alliance campaign.
Every day, across forests, highways, towns and villages, brave men and women stand watch so that Nigeria can sleep. They leave their families behind, confront danger head-on, and make sacrifices many of us will never see. Yet, the enemies of our nation continue their assault. They target our children. They murder innocent citizens. They force families from their homes. They turn thriving communities into places of fear and uncertainty. Their goal is simple: to break our spirit, divide our people, and steal the future of our nation. But Nigeria is stronger than terror. As we demand greater accountability, stronger security measures, and more effective action from those entrusted with our safety, we must also play our part. Support the forces, salute their gallantry, stand with those who stand. If you see something, say something. Let us be our brother's keeper. We must never surrender to fear, despair, or hopelessness. This is not the time for division by tribe, not by religion, not by region, not by political party. Because terror recognizes no ethnicity, no faith, and no ideology. Its enemy is all of us, and together United as one people, we can defeat it. For our children, for our communities, for our future, for Nigeria. Join the movement. Stand for our country. Stand for one another. Hashtag Unite Against Terror.
It's a beautiful morning, a splendid day, the very first day in the month of August. I'm super elated. This is my month, just 2 days. 2 days and it'll be World Ikes Day. Just 2 days.
Well, now you've mentioned World Ikes Day, I will also tell you some World National Days today. And today being 1st August, well, Happy New Month. Benin Republic is celebrating the National Day, and Switzerland is also having to celebrate some National Day. So World
on the 3rd
Day,
of August, it'll be World Ikes Day.
Well,
by the way, a very good morning to you, by the way, before we get carried away. Happy New Month to you. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Morning Express. My name is Ike Chiku Jue, and I'm not alone. I've got, you've listened to her, the very beautiful, delectable Mrs. Jennifer E. I'll leave it there.
That's a very good one. That's a
I'll leave it there.
Well, it's a lovely Saturday. You look lovely. Why did you take out
my signature.
Why did you take out the Obwefi? I liked it.
I need to get the title of what the satire is, so I can just be that.
And I like the style.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, it's a lovely Saturday. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm already seeing clouds gathering. Wherever those clouds are going to drop, it doesn't have to be here. We don't expect
August blessings. August blessings.
Well, there's something called August break. We're looking forward to that.
I'm not sure there'll be a break, though.
Maybe. I think we had 3 days in July.
I'm not sure there'll be a break. I'm not sure. Because I was looking at the outlook last night, and I saw that even in the month of August we'll have rains.
Yeah,
so I'm not really sure we'll have that break.
Well, I'm just praying for it. But whatever that prayer is, I know you're hoping it gets answered, because some clothes are still wet, even though some people wouldn't say it. But
are you reporting yourself?
No, I'm not.
Your clothes are not dry.
We know who's reporting. Well, the rains have been on, and regardless of what the rains have been saying, elections are running by the day. So get ready. I hope you've gotten your voter's card, because, of course, the race is on, and whoever is running.
It begins with Osun this month.
Yeah, this month. Osun will also decide.
And then the campaigns
kicks
off as well.
Exactly. So get ready. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll look at what the papers are talking about. Don't go away.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on Adbn TV. This information happening, business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on Adbn TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
An impact in humanitarian industry.
I am so delighted. I'm very happy to be a winner of Hills and Cruising.
The app and you next week lucky.
We have been a review detective to entertainment program. We don't only entertain you with good musicals. We celebrate experience. Watch it, participate, and feel the cruising moments.
Contribute. He wants to contribute. I have taken care of that child since the day he dropped into this world. Did I contribute to birthing him?
Look here, let me tell you one thing you don't know. You represent everything I stand against. Everything.
Evelyn Patrick stands expelled.
If anyone gets to hear about this, if Nancy gets to hear about it,
what will you do?
am I the one responsible?
You're not responsible, Mark.
Well, he doesn't love me anymore.
You were right to suspect. The new girl is pregnant.
Please. I don't have anyone. You're my best brother, and this attitude is killing me.
You should have thought of that, Richard. Fool and shackle up with James.
That's not fair. Tell me. I want to tell him about Josh. If you don't tell me, shut up!
Why are you treating me like this?
Shut up!
What more do you want from me?
Shut up!
I'm not worthy to call on you. I'm not to stand in your presence.
New episodes premiere every Sunday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 6 p.m.
Well, welcome back. The papers are replete with a lot to talk about this morning, from Palace court wedding to our star comparison between our star and Tyler. Who was supposed to. By the way, that's a good thing there, and a lot in election matters, you know. But of course, Jennifer, fantastic, telling us what these papers are reporting. And before she does that, I have the honor of welcoming a communication expert who's going to be reviewing the papers for us. I like to call him the Oga Boss of the communication business. Please join us as we welcome Professor Uwem Adbn. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Ike.
Prof.
Good morning,
And
Ike.
happy new month.
It's a pleasure.
Happy new month to you, sir.
Happy new month.
Happy new month and happy birthday in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
That's on Monday.
Yes,
Yes.
I have already planned my day. On
Yeah.
that day, I'm not sure I will eat at home.
Okay. That is if you can catch me.
Well, we will.
We will.
Morning flight. We'll take the morning flight.
I'm coughing in advance.
Well, it's quite easy. We'll take the morning flight and we'll be here. That's easy. Well, because today is first, let's begin with First Daily and get what it talks about. On First Daily, it says INEC opens 2027 candidates' credentials for public scrutiny. Okay, and it's not just on First Daily. We also have that captured on The Guardian. On The Guardian, it explains it. It says here, INEC to publish Tinubu, Atiku, Obi's credentials, August 1. We also have that captured on Saturday Telegraph. On Saturday Telegraph, it says fear grips parties as INEC publishes candidates list today. Electoral body denied us access code to Jonathan, others names, PDP faction. Votes not gone will decide next Osun governor. Turn says nobody should die because of election. We'll begin from credentials. Today's August 1. We're looking for, we've always had a discussion prior election, I think in the last 2 decades, talking of credentials, and we hear of NEPA bills. At some point we hear of so many things during this, but this time around it is up for public scrutiny. Is this a step in the right direction?
Yes, it's in the right direction, and it's part of the processes leading to the elections. And as the headline says, that fear grips parties, or should I say fear groups candidates, because whenever credentials are mentioned and to be made known to the public, put in the public sphere, certainly those who have disjointed certificates will begin to quake inside them, because over time we've come to see that many of the politicians display credentials that they cannot defend, that cannot be traced. And that's why some of them, when they enter government after some time or years, those things will be discovered and they'll be shown the way out. Many times some governors, or let me say elected officials, have been removed from offices by the court because of fake credentials. So it is a moment that fear should grip people, political parties, because even the parties are not very sure of the credentials of their candidates. What the candidate brought, that's what the parties uploaded to INEC. But now, before public scrutiny, somebody will know who was not his classmate but claims to be. Somebody will know who didn't finish university but claims to be. And so it's a period that should bring some tension.
Two things I'd like to, just put on the table then, okay, and I'd like to ask your thought about it. Last we checked, all that you're required to be a president of this country is a school cert. Last we checked.
That's true.
You don't need a BSc. You don't need a PhD. The last we checked, all that you needed was just your school cert. So is this anything to cause fear for any candidate, at least the most basic school set? They have it.
Even the school set itself is a credential. And so it has the capacity to cause some unseen tension, because the school set that you claim you have might not actually be a school set that WAEC or NECO recognizes. So credential is credential, but going further than that, yes, you don't have to have a bachelor's degree to be a president.
Of the country.
But the issue is that many of those who are going will say they have one or two credentials and they will plead the credentials. Immediately you plead the credentials, those credentials become subject of scrutiny. So it is not that you are going to use it is not that that credential is a requirement, but because you now say you have it. The issue is you now say you have it. So those credentials must be checked to be sure that you have not committed any, to be sure that what you have put before the public is actually correct.
Prof, when we look at the issues in Nigeria, there is a fundamental that every Nigerian, yearns for, and that is governance, right? Address issues. And if the most basic is school cert, why are we very particular about what credentials you put on the, I mean, you can write, you understand the issue, you can address them. Those people who are coming out to this public office, a lot of them have one business or the other. They've held one position or the other at different levels of life. And so why are we very particular? In our times, the attention they pay to credentials, the way that overemphasize credentials, especially when gone in for the top job.
In other claims that you are talking about, the issue of credentials might not come to the public sphere because everybody, let me not say everybody, the educational background of each candidate is already before the public. People know. It's like being the president of, let me use the president of the United States. Right from when you were born, your statistics are there for people to see. They know you attended. And so it's not something that you just jump from somewhere. That's why they don't give much attention to it, because they already know what you are, what you have. Unlike in our own, that somebody will come from somewhere, maybe a dark horse, and would say that he somebody you never knew. And plus the fact that we have the penchant credentials. I can say that very authoritatively. We have the penchant to fake credentials. And so that brings the need for the credentials to be checked. But beyond that, you said that if you understand the issues, I wish we had, when I say we in Nigeria, I wish Nigeria had upped the credential level. That is the minimum credentials needed. Because you need a certain level of education to understand the complexities of governance, complexities of politics.
I may be forced to disagree, because some of the problems that, let's look at Nigeria as a business, and let's look at some of the people who run business and who have run business successfully.
Is that Nigeria is a business?
No, let's look at it as a business.
Okay.
Some of the people who run businesses, who become very successful in life, they do not necessarily have these degrees. It's when they've gotten to a particular status, a level in the society, they make the money and everything, then they're just like, okay, so let me get that.
Those are private businesses, and it is a question of naira and kobo and investment. But when it comes to public governance, that you have to relate not just with your naira and kobo business, you have to relate with everybody around. You have to relate with the international community.
You can speak English. You can write.
Yes.
You understand the problem. The problems of Nigeria. You can. I mean, if you have in your private business been able to working with people, some of us people that if you go to their businesses, I do not want to mention names, but there are a couple of very successful has credentials on became that successful.
You see, the problem in Nigeria is that when to the position of governance, here they have lieutenants to think for them.
Of course.
A lot of times they themselves don't understand the issues. And because the lieutenants think for them, most times what we have as policies and programs are outcomes of what the lieutenant think. But in a situation where the chief executive understands the intricacies and complexities, it will be different. It will be different. So I'm not, I won't argue on the side of business, but governance is more than business.
Prof, every Nigerian, educated, uneducated, Jennifer, I'm so sorry, because, I mean, yes, he's an academic don, okay, so I'm going to face him. Every Nigerian, educated on or uneducated, understands insecurity, understands that, of course, we have economic issues, understands the need to provide the basics, light, water, road. These are things that you do not necessarily have to have a degree. Yes. Now, it is when you get to the very complex issues of financial economics, right? That's where you have the experts who you mentioned as your lieutenant. They advise you.
And they advise you to the extent, even when they give you the pieces of advice, to what extent do you understand? Because you do not have the background. Let me say this. At every level of education that you have, add something to you. Something is added. And so, if you are not exposed educationally, yeah, you can have the money, but you are still deficient in so many ways.
Deficient how? Deficient how that you cannot go to anywhere and speak? And deficient how that if they need to invite you for an event, they will ask you to bring your certificate? No. Prof, I disagree.
I agree. You see,
I disagree.
Those who have money, but then
I think we're making too much. We're making a fuss out of this thing. We're making a fuss. For me, much ado about nothing.
No.
What we want is governance. Address the fundamental issues. We have a security problem. We have an economy problem, and we have a unity problem. Now, what is causing disunity? If you can address it on ethnic lines, if you can address it on religious lines,
and you
do not necessarily have to be educated to address
you think
things.
Anyone that comes with a school set should be able to do that. It's more complex than that.
Prof.
Now let me put you on the spot. Are you telling me that somebody with a school set would have been able to do all that you do in the studio, all that Jennifer does in the studio. Just because he has money. Look at just because he has money. Don't look at my direction. Look at another perception. I said I will put you on the spot. But the main thing is, I think it's high time, not minding what we said, it is high time that aspect of the Constitution is amended. Because I'm telling you, it makes Nigeria a mockery. Are you talking of school said that now people go to write on the board for people to copy in the secondary school and pass? And those are the kind of people that you say should come and lead in governance?
How many countries out there ask their presidents, what do we even know about a lot of these presidents that, we speak so much about? What do we really know about their educational background?
That's why I'm telling you.
There's so much mistrust, and that's the reason why we're putting so much emphasis on credentials. We don't trust ourselves.
To the best of my knowledge, I think it was in Hungary or one country, a president claimed to have had, I think, a PhD some years back. And it was found out that the PhD, either somebody wrote it for him or he didn't have it. He resigned immediately. So in those countries that you are saying, I said that right from the time they were born and as they are growing, there are digital societies. Their path are being tracked. And so it's not a question of at the end.
Talking of tracked, how difficult is it identifying a fake credential? Let's begin from the NIN linkage. If you put on your NIN details, your name will come out. We've already begun the digital planning. How difficult, you're in the school system, how difficult is it someone approaches you and shows you a certificate, and sometimes you're always the returning officer. How difficult is it to identify what's fake and what's original?
It is not really my duty to identify that, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Even if you go to court, they will ask you your pedigree, your qualification, did you study, things like that. The only people that can say that a certificate is fake are those who issued the certificate.
Yeah.
But let me add this. In a situation where, I'm not alluding, but I'm stating a fact, in a situation where those who issued the certificate probably connive, then that's the end of it. As simple as that. If WAEC says this certificate is fake, this certificate is genuine, there's nothing you can say about that.
Prof, until that aspect of the Constitution that you are saying needs amendment, perhaps takes it to the next level of saying you need a BSc, you need a PhD, because the last we checked is school cert. Until that part is amended, you and I will speak English. And anybody that has school cert will still go, and if the people choose that person, the person will govern. We just want governance. We're speaking English. We're putting plenty emphasis on these papers, as if there are people with papers. I have had, by virtue of my privileged position, had the opportunity to interview a couple of persons with all the papers, with all the credentials that they cannot defend, and then you put them on the spot to do the job, and they still can't do the job.
But that is the issue. It means that even the certificate that they had was
questionable.
Governing Nigeria is more complex than papers.
Yeah, it's more complex than papers. But you need the papers.
Nigeria is not academic.
You need the papers as a foundation.
I disagree. You need to be a Nigerian as a foundation.
Well, we are missing out other points of that headline. Let's look at it. It says electoral body on the rider of Saturday Telegraph. Electoral body denied us access code to upload Jonathan Others' names, PDP faction. And I'll bring this to you. The PDP faction discussion, we had thought at some point this would have come to an end. And now alleging that the electoral body, INEC, denied them access to upload Jonathan and other party members' names or candidates' names on the portal. INEC, are they working in the right direction? Or like some of the accusations?
Jennifer.
No, some of the accusations.
Jennifer, wait. Let me ask you a simple question. Last we checked from the court's rulings, although you and I have talked about the issue of verdicts, clarity, the vagueness, especially with Latin maxims that they use, make it very complex. But then, let me ask, the last we checked, which faction did INEC recognize?
The last we checked, you should be asking him.
He's in the public domain.
You should be asking.
He's in the public domain.
The INEC, what would you have done?
INEC has certainly, I don't know if they have a court backing. I don't know, because when there are so many judgments and the lazy times you don't even seem to understand what they're saying. But what I know is that the body language has always been a recognition of the weak. The body language, they have not come, they did not come out to say it, but everything they did tended to indicate also.
If the non-recognition of what happened in Ibadan has cleared the air as to authenticity, and the record of the Wiki faction of what's that thing that they do again? To
convention.
Thank you very much. Convention. What else do you need?
I think it was more than that, because the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal, yes, faulted the Ibadan Convention, and also faulted what the then Secretary one other person had done, meaning that anything that those two people had done could not stand, just as the Ibadan Convention could not stand. But you see that an INEC that interprets things the way it wants. And so INEC has interpreted.
I don't think it was
well,
INEC.
Can we blame
INEC? Courts now.
No,
the court. Yeah. INEC's own is to comply
what I'm saying,
with whatever verdict is given and directive.
There were verdicts, and the verdict was that the Ibadan Convention was a nullity. And there was the same judgment said, in the other faction, anything that they had done, because they had been, let me say, they had been removed from office, the court accepted that anything they had done was a nullity. And the Ayahu and others that also had a convention. And so what that meant was that this one could not fly, this one could not fly. But that's why what they call the Board of Trustees said, since this one could not fly, this one could not fly, that the Constitution empowered them to take over the administration of the party. Personally, I thought that's the interpretation.
Yeah, but there's been an argument with the Adolfo Swabara led committee because they've been trying to run the party based on your explanation, but we've been having back and forth.
And they are running the party in consonance with the INEC's interpretation or the ruling. And so INEC has, well, I wouldn't say INEC has shunned them. INEC keeps quiet and does its things, and tactically recognizes weak.
Here's a question. They've uploaded Jonathan.
No, they haven't.
Where will we have uploaded?
Nobody didn't access code to Jonathan.
Okay, so they want to upload Jonathan.
Exactly.
But Jonathan not come out to tell Nigerians that, okay, ready to...
Well, the party says he's ready.
Last we checked, the man said he was still consulted. And how long he is going to take to consult. So are they going to fill this way?
Fielding him is not even the issue now. Is his faction, or the faction that parades him, does not have it. And it is that your coming to court was merely an academic exercise, that it had been overtaken by time.
Okay, well, academic takes still on Saturday Telegraph. On Saturday Telegraph, it says here, new JAMB registrar, Aina, declares war on exam fraud, vows to strengthen integrity, make admission process less stressful. I had to bring this to you.
Just want to hear.
Yeah. Declares war on exam fraud. You mentioned it yourself, that some schools now just write answers on the board and ask students to copy.
That's secondary school.
Secondary school. What happens then in the university?
The laws or the rules in the universities are very strict. Let me speak about the University of Uyo. The rules are very strict. If you are caught cheating, depending on the offense.
The problem is being caught.
Yeah, of course. Because if you are not caught, if you are caught cheating, there are levels of punishment. It could be expulsion, it could be rustication for 2 semesters, 4 semesters, and so on and so forth. If the JAMB registrar is declaring war on misconduct, it's good. But the problem is that JAMB relies on the facilities of people to conduct its exams. And to that extent, they may not be able to control everything. And they must also look at their ICT processes, whereby
glitches.
Apart from the glitches, people who have access exam
can be hacked.
Yes, it could be hacked. And before people go to write the exam is already known. So if he has declared war on that, fine. But talking about admission processes, I want to agree with him that JAMB has taken very positive steps, and those steps are even for the University of Uyo. I'm not a university, but I will say what I know. This week, the Vice Chancellor meeting deans of department. Of course, when the new Vice Chancellor came in, Professor, admission will be returned to the department. That admission will not be done at the top level, which had been what has been happening in as many years as I can. And so I think Tuesday in fact we had a training. Those are heads of department. We had a training. JAMB people came, the admissions officer came, and so the university has returned, or is about to return admission to the department with guidelines. With guidelines, 45% merit, 25% catchment area, 20% educationally disadvantaged, with guidelines. And as a head of department, you are supposed to set up a committee to handle that. And after that, what you do will be vetted at the faculty level. And after that, it will be taken to the Central Admissions Committee, where the Vice Chancellor is the chairman. And so what the JAMB registrar said is correct, because I think from this year, the process of admission will be more transparent, to actually merit.
Yeah, there was a particular approach. There was a particular approach, I can't remember which year, but better if we go back to that approach.
Okay.
Writing the exams in the intended schools,
rather than
going to the different places that you rely on, because of course we talk about power issues, we talk about integrity, people who are supervising, we also talk about the systems,
you don't talk kidnappers on the road.
Or you have a problem where they have to do the exams in the night. So can we not go back to the intended school? You go there, do your exam there, and if you're able to beat their cutoff mark, if you're able to, scale through the hurdle, you get admitted.
Meaning that JAMB should be of no effect.
Perhaps. I think it's a suggestion.
Well, I think we had passed
because it's looking to me more like a revenue-generating agency than what it in the the restricted.
Yeah, a lot of people have canvassed that schools should conduct their but that would mean a lot of things. JAMB was set up by...
It can be overseen by statute. It can be overseen by...
I don't know how JAMB will come and oversee the exam, or that is not static. No, it's not going to be possible, except that they amend the law, and that means that JAMB will no longer be in place.
The truth is, Prof, you and I know that this issue of exam fraud has existed age-long, even till this moment.
Even at this hour.
Everybody who comes on board talks tough. It's like the new sheriff that comes to town and declares that this is no longer a safe haven for criminals, and then 6 months down the line, he finds out that his declaration was just merely a declaration. So you have a new there at JAMB. And he's talking tough. We've seen this kind of position before. We've heard people come out, they want to clamp down on exam fraud, but this thing still persists. How possible is it to stop fraud when we know that there are certain enablers that are not?
Well, I like the word, but let me take the point of JAMB. The man has come, a new sheriff. if it means to stop exam misconduct, even if it's not 100% successful, but it can go a little extent. There in JAM, they know where the leakages come from, and they can take steps to address. It's like even in the university, people know where the leakages come from, and those who have the genuine intention of reducing exam misconduct, they can do it. They can do it. It needs a sincerity of purpose. It needs diligence and commitment. And so going back to JAM, they know the route. Because ICT business, writing CBT,
you can't guarantee.
You can't guarantee, but they can try and reduce as much as possible. Another thing is that even those who own the cyber cafes, the exam centers where we go to write, many of them, most of them are very corrupt, they are very fraudulent, and they compromise a lot, and they will do as if they don't know what is happening. That's why a number of times, even after exams, JAM will cancel exam in some centers, and will even blacklist some centers. And so, as I said, they know the chain, and so they can take steps to do it. Don't forget that even some of our school children, they don't even know how to use the computer.
So we need to go back to schools then and begin to teach them ICT.
Well, let's still look at still on the education sector. Still on Saturday, Safe Schools. Saturday, Safe Schools. It says Deep's probe as committee meets education, finance ministers, demands accountability. We also have that captured on Saturday Sun. On Saturday Sun, we have this discussion. On Saturday Sun, it says, Safe Schools Initiative, Senate deepens probe, finance, education ministers pledge transparency as Senate widens investigation. It's also captured on The Guardian and all, but let's look at that. We just spoke exam fraud, and you in the time had also mentioned of security, and the Safe School Initiative is one that would have turned around school environment, even education in terms of safety and education-wise. But we've seen that a number of states across the Federation have not implemented even half of what the initiative says. With this probe, is this going to be some academic work, or there's actually going to be some results?
Yeah, there may be some result, but when we talk of safe school, you can extract from the larger society. If you want people to be safe in school, then the larger society has to be safe. So I think we should pursue the thing holistically, not isolating schools. Even if the school is safe and the larger society is not safe. So what comes out of it? And so while the probe is on, I will advise that we pursue security holistically, because if Uyo is safe, for example, then the schools within Uyo will be safe. That's my take.
But then, if you look at the siting of schools, if we go back to the intentions behind where schools were located at the initial, you see that the intention was to take them from distraction as much as possible. That's why they were, located away from every suburban disturbance to a place where it's more calm, it's more serene, so that the students can have less disturbance, less distraction, and study. But then, since we cannot reverse where a lot of this have been cited, what advice would you give? I'm only going to ask that you give an advice. You're not a security expert. What advice would you give in that this Safe School Initiative works? Because we've seen, like in the case of Yobe, it was reported the school was sected, and then somebody gave an instruction, and then the soldiers left, and that's when the insurgents came and kidnapped. What advice would you give the government in ensuring that the Safe school initiative works?
I wish I were a security expert, but let me just add that some of these schools that were established, the purpose of taking them out of areas that could distract. Over time, urbanization has caught up those schools. So those schools, they used to be very far off. People have, the areas have become built up, stations overtaken, so they are now in the midst of cities and towns. I said something that you cannot isolate schools to protect. Because those who go to cause mayhem in the school come from outside the school. And so if we are able to secure the society, then the motivation to go to school to cause problem will not be there. So let's take it holistically. As you say, school must be safe. Let the entire society be safe, and not pretend that you are doing something about school by saying safe school when the society, the towns and the cities are not safe. Those people who cause mayhem, they live in the society. So let's try and make everywhere safe.
Good advice.
And the student will be safe.
Good advice.
Indeed.
Good advice.
And we'll look at something else on Saturday Sun. Saturday Sun, it brings us some sunshine. It says here 2.8 trillion to end electricity subsidy next year. No plans to increase tariff, says Minister. Not just on Saturday Sun, we have that on Saturday Independent. Saturday Independent says federal government holds electricity tariff, promises improved power supply. On First Daily, still on this issue, on First Daily it says federal government to end electricity subsidies from 2027. I'd like to take it from...
You know, Prof and I just leave that paper there. You know, there was a time you and I spoke to pictures depicting the opposite, because I'm thinking if Pella and Jarvis are the electricity subsidy that they're removing.
I wonder. Well, somebody seems to have a subsidy in that picture. So maybe the subsidy has to be taken. Well, yeah, we're talking about, you see, the federal government is seems from both sides of the mouth. And tariff. I commend them for that. But they will end it in December. When you say you end subsidies, if at all, that doesn't mean. You say you are not increasing the electricity tariff. Should clap. You say in 2027, you are not going to subsidize. What does it mean?
What's your promise?
It means that the tariff will be increased. If the federal government had been subsidized and it will take away the subsidy, the money paying as will be added to the electricity.
Well,
what does it mean to subsidize?
What if the government pays part of, or government pays part of the bill, so that the electricity
can be affordable?
What do they call
but
this?
But it said here it's halting, not doing that immediately. Yeah, between now until 2027.
Halting what?
Electricity tariff.
Okay, and then in 2027, they will take out so-called. That means that the halt would have been halted. The halt would have been halted. The halt would have been halted, and the tariff. Remember, true. Oh, no more subsidy. Are we not buying for 300 naira?
So how much was it when there was? So we buying?
No, 200 naira.
200.
Yes.
So you were saying a subsidy made it.
Well, somehow.
So government pays a differential, and then it becomes affordable.
Yes.
Is electricity even affordable in the true sense of it?
Well,
because I mean, one would have to query if some subsidy is being paid. Because I mean, if we look at it, there's a grading. There's a band A, band B, band C,
abandon.
A band A subscriber pays through their nose.
That is true.
So what subsidy are we even enjoying?
That's why I said if there is subsidy at all. If there is subsidy at all. But I'm telling you that it is a very, do I say, subtle way of the federal government telling us that from 2027 you pay more for electricity.
Is it possible to have improved power without an increased tariff?
It's possible. It's possible. It's only that, you see, I'm sorry to say this, in Nigeria, a lot of people want to suffer. If people don't suffer, they don't enjoy it.
Since we're just looking at now, if we look at other times, usually complain of and if we're looking at that and comparing that to Nigeria, there's a gap.
Yes, there's a gap. But have you looked at their wages? Have you looked at their wages? There could be gaps. But they earn, even there, is able to take care of those utility bills. But in our own,
well, there's a contemplation to repeat to 100 or more.
Even at 100, does it? If you buy rice and do this,
55,000.
So how much will remain?
45,000.
45,000. Then you go to pay electricity bill.
Well, it depends on what you use.
So those huge gaps, yes, they are there. Those people they pay more, but their wages are higher. So much so that even within 1 hour that you work, you can use the wage to settle the bills. And that's why at the end they're still able to send something down here to their cousins, parents, and whatever. So even though there are gaps, I think it is mischievous, very mischievous for somebody to compare Nigeria with maybe UK and others say they are paying higher. It's mischievous. If you compare that they are paying higher, have you also looked at the money that they earn that is every day of those bills?
But is it not also possible that just the same way we were able to establish that the subsidy regime in the petroleum subsector was laden with a lot of fraud? Is it not also possible, because the federal government just paid off a legacy of
Is it true?
Yeah, he's paying a legacy debt, right? And all of this,
whatever it means,
it's a legacy debt, right? Inherited debt over the years and all of that. So it's a legacy debt. But is it not also possible that the subsidy regime itself in the electricity subsector perhaps is not exactly delivering the intended intention, and that's the reason why they're taking it off, because they've taken subsidy off fuel. There's availability. We don't queue anymore.
We don't queue. But
back in the days, every celebration you'll be afraid because you'll be spending at the filling station. So take out the subsidy that can guarantee availability.
Because of subsidy was because we had a national oil agency that was ineffective, NNPC. We had refineries that were not working, and they were importing, and so many things there. Not necessarily because of subsidy. They did not run the system very well, but this time around, I think it's better run by the one-man squad, Dangote, and that's what we have. That's why we have fuel. About electricity, I want to add that even that subsidy they're talking about, because if you are subsidizing, and we are not even having the electricity, we are not even having the light.
So what?
A few months ago, you talked about legacy debt, about 3 trillion, and if you give me such money now, I will just go and make my village in another New York or so. 3 trillion. And in fact, the question is, this money was paid to who? We don't even know. And so this subsidy, I really, and I'm saying sincerely, this subsidy has some question marks.
So if it has some question marks, as you've said, is it not advisable that, you take it out? Because, I mean, when we took off the one in the petroleum sector, we had at least that guarantee to a huge extent the availability that we had a problem with. So if you took this one out, perhaps the availability of electricity that we're
if you want to take out, let me advise the state government. Yeah, the federal government can take out, but is that power distribution and generation has been devolved to the state. But I don't know how many states have taken up that
Thank you so much. You know, this thing you said just gave me an epiphany. And I thank you so much for bringing this direction. Don't shout the subsidy will now make state governments more ingenious and rise up to the occasion. Because a lot of them are not taking advantage of the Electricity Act.
They are not.
And they are still perhaps dependent on the national system.
And I tell you that if different state governments engage in this electricity generation and distribution, the price will fall.
So there will be no need to pay subsidies.
There will be no need.
So it is perhaps wise. It is perhaps, look at it from the other angle, that it might be in the wisdom of the government to make state, sub-nationals rise to the occasion and do something. There's an Electricity Act that a lot of them are not able to join.
They shouldn't wait for the federal government. Those who love their citizens, should actually take up that mandate and see what they could do. If Akwa distribute, Abia generate and distribute, and so many states generate and distribute, I am saying the price will come down. And this subsidy is always very central. It's done up there. And when there is, when you don't have what to do, then no subsidy will be paid. And
so you're finally come to the point that it may just be that states, subnationals are going to be forced to wake up. And that's why you need to, because sometimes you don't take the feeding bottle off the child and another way to feed. The child becomes very dependent, even when the child is supposed to be feeding, by his or herself. The child still becomes dependent on the feeding bottle.
Are you giving free consultancy to?
I haven't said about babies.
They're looking at already distributing meters, and this is also meter.
Was before the election companies came out and opposed it. Let's go back to the federal government started out a system, and came out and opposed. They came out and opposed it. I read this once in the papers.
And I think there was some resolution.
They had a meeting with the federal government, but I'm not sure that they agreed.
There is
because it's like spoiling business for them.
Distributed free. Well, I have seen locations already in Akwa Ibom where people are getting those meters free. Yes.
Are you sure that they have not made provision for those people to pay back in installment?
No, from the locations which I have interacted
because with. When those electricity companies gave out meters, say from government subsidized, I tell you that the cost of the meters was built into your bill every month until you
even the one you would have paid it.
Yes, your bill may be, let me say 5,000, and they will take 7 like that until you pay off. So anything that I'm told is free, there's a question mark. I don't have the details, and I'm not doubting you, but let me hope there's no hidden cost somewhere.
Very good place to live it, though.
Exactly.
Jennifer, let's hope.
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
There's no crime in hoping.
We're all hoping. We're looking forward to that, and we're hoping too the supply of electricity.
We need it, though.
I can't write Prof is vehemently speaking, about electricity availability. I know that he doesn't have light, so he's using the opportunity indirectly to lament.
Well, I don't.
And actually, I came to charge my laptop and phone here.
That's why you are very
you have hit it on the spot.
You don't have lights. That's why you're
I don't.
I know.
So we need to advocate and pontificate.
You've done that already. So I believe your lamentation will now receive expeditious action.
I'm not like you. You live in a Band A area.
No, I don't live in a Band A area. You're just like I don't live in Band A area. most of my dealings is here. And even where we work here, you know, ADBN here in Akwa Ibom State.
We have to fund ourselves.
We have solar, we have a generator, and then we have electricity. And the electricity, even at that band level, is not even giving us the banding of the band A. So please.
Well, well, thank you very much, Professor.
It's a pleasure seeing you. It's good to see you.
Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll join Jokubed Moshood. Stay with us.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN. A part of you.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible stark. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, it's a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Contribute. He wants to contribute. I have taken care of that child since the day he dropped into this world. Did I contribute to birthing him?
Look here, let me tell you one thing you do. You represent everything I stand against. Everything.
Evelyn Patrick stands expelled.
If anyone gets to hear about this, if Nancy gets to hear, will you do?
Am I the one responsible?
You're not responsible, Mark.
He doesn't love me anymore.
You were right to suspect the new girl is pregnant.
I don't have anyone. You're my best friend and my brother, and this attitude is killing me.
Should have thought of that, Rachel, before you went and shackled up with James.
Mark, that's not fair.
Tell me. I want to tell him about Josh. No, if I don't tell him, he'll react. Shut up!
Why are you treating me like this?
Shut up!
What more do you want from me?
Shut up!
I'm not worthy to call on you. I'm not worthy to stand there. Your presence.
New episodes premiere every Sunday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 6 p.m. exclusively on ADBN television.
But you still wanna.
Did you know the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) will begin the distribution of permanent voter cards across Osun State from Wednesday, the 22nd of July 2026, ahead of the Osun State governorship election on Saturday, the 15th of August 2026. According to the Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, the exercise is for newly registered voters, citizens who applied for a transfer of their voter, those who requested replacement of lost or damaged PVCs, as well as voters who are yet to collect their cards from previous registration exercises. PVC distribution will begin at the registration area centers from Wednesday, the 22nd of July, before moving to INEC local government area offices from Wednesday, the 29th of July to Friday, the 7th of August, between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily, including weekends. Remember, PVC collection is strictly personal. No one can collect your card on your behalf, and without your PVC, you cannot be accredited or vote on election day. As Osun prepares to elect its next governor and deputy governor, visit your designated PVC collection center before the deadline. Collect your permanent voter cards and take your place in deciding the future of Osun on Saturday, 15th of August 2026. Get your PVC. Protect your vote.
Stay updated on our latest series of voter education on the ADBN Enlightenment Campaign.
Welcome back. This time around, we're joining Jokobet Moshood in Lagos to tell us what's trending and what are we tataforing about.
No, you've not given her a proper
I was about
title.
to. Our Honorable Minister of Tatafo Affairs, one and only, Jokobet Moshood. Hi, Joki. Good morning.
Honorable Minister, Ma, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. And how is the weekend treating you?
Well, the weekend is quite busy over here, but nothing too much, nothing we can't handle at all. There's no rain of some sort, so one is just preparing to celebrate with the new couple, Jarvis and Ella. Yeah. But aside that, nothing too much. Okay, so for this week, lots of things have actually happened, and I'm just gonna, fill you in on some of the most important ones. We have Tyler. Tyler announced her tour in Nigeria, and it caused a whole stir on social media. People were asking, Nigerians were saying, if you can't allow Nigerians and other Africans in your country, why are you going to another African country to go have the show? Now, it's also notable to know that these things are not even scheduled by Tyler, it's by the management. So she has really little to no power over this. However, now in Lagos. And Nigerians are now saying, why would you say that? And people are like, okay, if you really want to watch Tyler, go to South Africa and go watch her.
Oh, well, this particular Africa-Nigeria stuff, I don't know how it's going to pan out, because not too long ago, I think maybe it was a little bit of a rushed work. Not too long ago, we're talking of Nigerians being evacuated from South Africa after a number of disruptions to Nigerian properties and beatings, assaulting of many Nigerians in South Africa. And you're South African. You fix a show tour in Lagos, Nigeria, I think the first you should have done is make a statement on your stand against xenophobic attacks. That should have been
She's yet to do that till now.
That should have been the first step. And you show your relationship or your friendship or your solidarity with Nigerians. That would go a long way. Not just waking up and fixing a show in Nigeria.
Like you don't
like
care
nothing
about
happened.
what happened. Like
no.
nothing happened.
Come on, something
and then you want
happened.
to come to our country and we can't come to. In fact, look, at this point, Jennifer, thank you. I'm going to ask the director to, bring on the screen the Punch newspaper of today.
Yeah,
I want to speak to
exactly.
that. On the Punch newspaper of today, right? Director, please kindly just flash the Punch, because it speaks to this.
Yeah, let me even read from it. It says, Ira's star visa denial. South Africa demands proof as Tyler cancels Lagos show. Envoy rejects star's visa denial claim. Says no evidence. Nigerians knock Tyler after Lagos tour exit. Now, there is no certainty on what really happened. There is no confirmation on what actually took place. But expect that let the waters calm. I know she sings about water. Let the water calm before you can take such a step. Not just for anything, your own safety as well, and also to ensure that ties, the bond already has been established before you make such a move. That's not a very, very
well, this is what I have to say. Now, look at the place. South Africa demands proof, as Tyler Council show. Over the week, the federal government demanded that South Africa compensates, Nigerians who've been affected by the xenophobic attack. Nigeria also demanded from South Africa that there be justice for the victims. South Africa has yet to respond about the compensation. South Africa has yet to ensure justice for the victims of xenophobia. South Africa is even yet to satisfactorily address xenophobia, which is still going on in their country, and Ira Star was denied visa. Will Ira Star just come out and say she was denied visa? This is a very, very serious matter. And then they're demanding proof. Our demand to meet, they're demanding proof. Well, the proof is that no show. Since you will not allow our people live in your, do business in your country, Nigeria should not be a habitable place for people who are not ready to even consider it. So let this be one warning signals to the South African. I'm so sorry, Tyler needed a scapegoat on this one, but let's see more high-profile visa denial. Let's see more high-profile event by South Africans that are cancelled on account of what their government has refused to do. I am using this opportunity to speak to His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, to man up, and handle xenophobia in your country. Rhetorics, it's not English. Because the body language of the South African president speaks to the fact of complicity. And we, as Nigerians, we're tired of this. I've had the Senate talk about this, the National about this, on what is the best stand to take. Because many Nigerians are saying, let's retaliate. But because of our very brotherly, very dating nature, we're looking at the best way to approach this very delicate matter. But South Africans are not looking at the best way to address this, because they keep, as we speak, I think about 98 Nigerians have been killed in 4 years. And the recent xenophobic attacks saw 5 Nigerians killed. They have not given justice, no compensation whatsoever to the many businesses that have been affected, and you want to come and enjoy our jollof rice and our fine places and do your show, collect our money and go. No.
Well,
I
would like to support that, because I remember prior to the June 30 deadline, the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, had mentioned that there is no such deadline. But on the 30th of June, what did he do? What did the South African government do?
They came to enforce their deadline.
Exactly. And you can't say one thing and do another and expect people to just go by like nothing happened. Come on, Nigerians are hurt. people who had built business for decades had to leave, come back with nothing.
No compensation whatsoever. Even when the federal government of Nigeria demanded, they turned deaf ears. I'm sorry that's end this way, but look, if we don't do this, I don't think they'll take this matter seriously, because the South African government just probably thinks they can do what they like. They're not talking to the people that are doing this. Okay, say there's a particular tribe of people that are doing, there's a particular movement, the Dudula movement. Okay, the members of the Dudula movement that are, enforcing the xenophobic attack, saying they are coming to take our jobs and our women. Okay, we have left your jobs. Day your day. Let us do our day.
Exactly. It's not even supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be hard. Yes, that Tyler doesn't have any, I wouldn't say Tyler has any rules or any say in whatever happened, but she has to speak up when all these things were even happening.
Exactly.
Let's even say sympathize with Nigerians. She did not. She never did. And she has a huge fan base in Nigeria. And it's sad. It is quite sad. But we're going to have to move over to another story, another pressing issue. We have Era Star that she actually had a surgery. And it's kind of shocking to most of the fans, because they had literally no idea that something of this sort was actually happening. And we just hope that she's recovering well and good. And she also has some good
wait,
news.
madam, before you finish, they did not give us details of the surgery. Because when women come out to say they had a surgery, first thing we need to go check is, or did they have some kind of aesthetical enhancing surgery? Because I will not tell you sorry if the surgery is to enhance your aesthetics, because that one is your choice. So we need to go and I don't know. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible, right? So we do, but of course we wish her a quick recovery. But then we need to find out if that surgery is to enhance certain aesthetics. Okay. Let's leave it there.
Okay. I wouldn't say a word. I'll just
you won't say a word, but you said words.
Recovery. No. I think surgery is surgery, and if there's.
What do you mean surgery is surgery?
Surgery is surgery.
No, I disagree.
Surgery
is not surgery.
And
no. Listen. When you look at what you have and you say you don't like it and you want to do an enhancement, that kind of surgery is not surgery, because we've seen people die from it, right? We've seen people go through tummy tuck and butt lift and you name it, and all those things, and they die at the end of the day.
And there are people who die from taking out fibroids.
No.
This is also
I disagree.
surgery. Come on.
Surgery is not surgery. If you had a life-threatening health challenge that required a surgery, I can recognize that one. But when you say you don't like the shape of your teeth, you don't like the shape of your face, what God gave you is not good enough, you want to go and do aesthetical enhancement, that one is not surgery. You are the one that has invited whatever you have invited. If you take 5 months to recover, I will not tell you sorry. I will not tell you sorry. Simple.
Okay.
Well, there hasn't been any indication of what kind of surgery it was. Women have complicated issues, and you never can tell what happens. Some just come with age. So sometimes you can't even just... play your truth all you want, but we're praying for
Oh, yes. Yeah, for quick. Also, she has good news under her belt, because a lot of Bone is actually coming out next year.
Yeah, that movie, a lovely movie. I saw Viola Davis in that movie. She reminds me of the Woman King. Every time I see Viola Davis and how she acted the Woman King, I can't get it off my head. And I've fallen in love with her movies. She's a fantastic actor, if you ask me. And seeing Viola Davis in this one, alongside Aya Star, RMD, Richard Mofedamijo, and a couple of Nigerian stars in this movie, I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait.
Oh, looking forward, and I'm just waiting.
Is the surgery related to the movie?
Oh my goodness.
It's a question. Well, I'm just asking for a friend now. Is the surgery related to the movie to enhance certain...
well, we'll see in the movie.
Certain aesthetics.
We'll see in the movie, Ike.
From the trailer.
I think we have a solution. We'll see that in the movie, and we'll all know if it was or if it wasn't.
Exactly. Exactly. And from the trailer, I can see that she still has her same body shape and everything. So
You
I
cannot
do
be
not
so
believe
sure.
Well, like,
You cannot be so sure.
don't worry, the
You are
movie
not
will show us
you are not looking
everything.
well.
The movie will show us everything.
You are not looking well.
Lastly, we're going to talk about the Big Brother Niger season 10, specifically about Ella, the housemate. She is a Ibom, and I want to say that I'm really rooting for her.
Can I alter your alignment?
Yeah,
Miss Tatafo Minister. Let me, in fact, we are both agreed to alter your alignment. How can you be talking about issues in Nigeria or what's Nigeria? You cannot talk about what started as a joke and today's a reality. One of the most talked about unexpected wedding in Nigeria, Pella and Jarvis. So we are altering your alignment.
Okay, let me talk about Jarvis now. So, Pella and Jarvis. And people have been having different thoughts about it, you know, saying different things. But when we saw the court pictures, everyone was like, okay, congratulations to you all. Congratulations to you both. I do hope that they have a great union. I hope that they stay together. And I also hope he doesn't crash any of his cars because they had an argument in the house. So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to follow their conversation, and at some point I lost it after they spoke about the break, because I remember prior to the talk about the breakup, there was a conversation about Jarvis abandoning her dream just to follow Pella around, and gradually we started talking of, and then we heard of the breakup, and after that I was lost somewhere, and then it popped up. They're getting married. I'm like, oh, really? I thought there was a breakup. And then they talk about traveling somewhere, and she turned it down or gave a condition. You have to do this before I join you on your set, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow. So you guys were playing us all along, just giving us content, and now you're married? Well, congratulations to Pella and Jarvis. And, you know, for every union, there has to be something that unifies them, and then there's going to be a bigger story. So I'm waiting for that bigger story, you know, that collaboration, Jarvis and Pella. I'm waiting for that.
For me, I never took them serious, I'll be truthful to you. I followed Jarvis since the day of, you know, her AI acting. You know, she's been doing the robotic woman, talking like a robot, and she was so good with it, you understand? She even got an endorsement, a big brand endorsement from one of the big phone makers, you know, from doing that. She was so good with that AI robotic thing. To abandon that and follow a streamer was something that nobody saw coming. But when I started taking it was when they went to Lagos, and Pella paid for a big billboard scroll, and she didn't know. So they were driving towards, I think, towards a place in Lagos, and that picture came up, the two of them, and post right there. That was when I started taking them serious. And then when I started seeing Pella attending different functions, trying to carry his ashwebi and tell people, come for my wedding, oh, come for my wedding, oh, you know, went to different places telling people, I said, oh, so this is serious. So when we saw the court wedding, I was like, okay, so this is the icing on the cake. So for me, I hope they don't turn their marriage into content. Let's leave it there.
Okay. Well, we can't have any promises, or, you know, we can't expect so much, but I do hope that they have a great union, and I am really concerned about his mental health. I hope that he keeps it in check. Now, we're moving over finally to Big Brother Niger 11, where we have Ella, who is, an Akwa Ibom citizen, and she is 22. She just got into the house. Congratulations to her. I hope that she goes far in the competition, and she should always remember that a win is a win. It doesn't matter if she gets to the final stage. As far as she's made a mark in the season, it goes a long way. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring it a little bit out. I remember while people were getting into the house, you know, there's this new, in fact, once I captured that I'm doing to do. There's some pictures across social media who frame themselves as a housemate. I'm just getting into the house, use the flag. It was trending on social media, and sometimes you get confused who's really the housemate. So But then, Big Brother Niger, looking forward. Let's see how that pans out.
Well, for me, the thing is the prize money. Over the years, we've seen many people win the prize money, and not many of them have been able to manage it well. We do not have trackable stories of how success eventually became, with the monies that they won. And so for me, I just want to speak to the prize money. Every time, every season, they are always increasing the prize money. Mine is just to appeal to whoever wins eventually to use that money well, because not many of them turned out to be successful or turned out popular or were able to manage the fame that they were able to get from the Big Brother Niger to advance their future ambition. So when you money, please use it.
Yes, I do hope that they do. And I also have great news for you all.
Yeah. It skipped my memory. So congratulations. And you see,
Thank you.
The work you put in definitely always comes with some reward. And sometimes it may not even be enough, but you've gotten yourself. And this is just a step, and more will be coming. So congratulations.
Congratulations to you, Joki. You've made us proud. Our tutelage, of course, you know that we contributed a lot. You were our baby when you came in the building. So our mentorship and tutelage paid off. You made us proud. ADBN is proud of you. Keep flying the flag.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do have a great broadcast. Thank you.
All right, and you too. Have a great weekend. And of course, and that's it on the Tatafo aspect. But after the break, we'll be looking at something more interesting as we winding down to 2027. And of course, this month, campaigns will begin. There's another discussion on Southern presidency. What is it like for the South? What is constitutional? What is zoning meant to achieve? And we'll look at all of those perspectives after the break.
Every second, a stakes.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation, the world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN. A part of you.
At the congresses and conventions, as the presidential candidates emerge from southern Nigeria, SNBLF, as well as Nigerians at large, are alarmed at the renewed, unabated state of insecurity in the nation. The situation is so worrisome as more than 70% of the national territory.
Independence Constitution negotiated by our founding fathers. For the Federation to function properly, in the interests of the constituent part, there should be fundamental devolution of powers and functions to the federation units, so that each federation unit can effectively serve the development interest of the people. This is the central essence of a good federation, not the current over-centralization and functions in the central government in Nigeria. Since these fundamental matters were considered and resolved at the 2014 National Conference, we urge the federal governments to take appropriate and urgent steps to ensure the adoption and implementation of the 2014 National Conference. Accordingly, we support the recent resolution of the National Assembly that the report of the 2014 National Conference be placed before it via a bill.
We are ready to work to serve
the country in order to serve you well. We want to serve you and turn the ship around. We've seen that you are angry. But what are you angry for? Development, lack of job, lack of security, inadequate employment, and the high prices of food stuff. Angry that you have frequent strike from the higher institutions. I stand here and I promise you today that all of that will be forgotten. Give us your mandate. Be dedicated. Be patriotic. Act as citizens. That we vote to promote decency, organization, and knowledge. We will make you proud of Nigeria.
Yes, we will.
We make you productive citizens of this country.
Yes, we will.
We will make you great educators, great inventors, great developers.
Yes, we will.
We have the knowledge, we know the road, we understand the curves. We work with you. We definitely collaborate with the states to discover more and develop more. Develop our country. We are talking about 200 million now and more than 500 million in 25 years' time. We have to be ready. We have what it takes. We have knowledge, courage, we have the capacity. Any of our great endeavors, any other more, any other more, abioma. Oporowa abiosi, umbrella wọn ti ya, irọ́ ti ya. Kí ló yọ umbrella wọn? Irọ́. And they are failing under every economic aspect. They cannot create job for you. Are you not tired of it? You went to the university 7, 8 years, a 4 years course. Are you not tired for it? Are you not?
The character, the tenacity to push forth an idea into an executable plan that has birthed the new Lagos today. Asiwaju had a reputation as an advocate, a champion of unity, and a man that has continued to stand for the cohesion country. We can see this, of course, from all of the outstanding things that he has been doing, both on a professional level and within his political career. He's been the right man for the job at all levels.
There is a very small group outside. In any election, they are called these voters. They are called the swing voters. Now, I want to talk to those swing voters through you, our members. Because once you are energized, they will be energized. They will ask you a lot of questions. I want to tell you what to tell them. There's something called frequently asked questions. We call them FAQ. Frequently asked questions. They will ask you, who is Tinubu? Tell them. When they ask you who is Tinubu, tell them Femi Gbajabiamila said Tinubu is the greatest politician in modern day Nigerian politics. They will ask you, but they said that he did not go to school. Tell them that I, Femi Gbajabiamila, said he is more educated than all the contestants put together. But they said they want him in America. Please don't argue with them. Tell them that the Americans have said repeatedly that they do not know what they are talking about. They will say, but they say that he is corrupt. Tell them he is the most investigated Nigerian presidential candidate in the history of Nigeria, and nothing has been found on him.
The one thing about Lagos is that everyone does business or have a relationship with somebody from another part of the country. So it's not only for you to vote for Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's for you to carry the message.
No other country to build a new Nigeria. We have said we are going to secure Nigeria. Hold us responsible for security. We will unite this country. We will make it work for you. Nigeria is insecure. People are living in fear. People are living in hunger. People have no job.
Welcome back. You've seen the videos. Before we went for that quick interlude there, Jennifer did tell you what we're discussing this morning. This beautiful first day in the month of August, we're talking about the Southern presidency. And why is this conversation apt? Because just recently the Middle Belt and then some parts of the North also came together to insist that the presidency goes to the South. The conversation is back on the table because some persons feel at this juncture, Nigerians are not really bothered about, where the presidency goes to. All we want, perhaps you say, are solutions. But people are saying it's still the turn of the South. And so the South has to, complete its time or tenure for parity, for justice, for inclusion. Well, what has the Southern presidency even in terms of elections? Has it been any better than a Northern presidency? Well, there's so much to talk about. Joining us virtually this morning, alongside here, first off, let me introduce our guest in the studio. He is a political scientist and an educationist and a public affairs analyst of repute as well. Join us as we welcome Dr. Essien Ukbe. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, Thank you, Ike. Thank you.
Thank you for
having
joining
me.
us.
Thank you.
And joining us also virtually, all the way from is a human activist, a legal practitioner, and also a public affairs analyst, Barry Nyambe. Good morning to you, Barrister Paul Nyambe. Great to see you.
Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Scotland there.
Okay, well, we're looking at this Southern president, and let me give a little breakdown from 1999 up to date. In 1999, we had a Southern president, Obasanjo, and then in 2007, Yar'Adua came in, and in 2010, Jonathan came in, and after that, 2015, Buhari came in, and now in 2023, Tinubu, and after that, even during that period, we've had conversations of people raising questions about the Southern Time. And in fact, back in 2022, Senator Lindume had mentioned that it is the turn of the South. And also in 2021, Babagana Zulum had also mentioned conversations. The APC had an understanding that the South should reign. And now we're also having such conversations that the South is the turn of the South. And it raises questions around constitutionalism, raises question about the zoning system, how that has worked over the years, and why this, if this is necessary in any way, having to bring up issue of the South. So, Barrister Paul Nyambe, I don't know if you can hear me. How is this constitutional? And if not, what issues of when it comes to electing a president?
Well, thank you for affording me this opportunity to contribute. Before I proceed, you have asked clearly if it's constitutional, to introduce the subject of ethnic or ethnicity, tribalism into politics or into the politics of Nigeria. Well, I'll tell you categorically, it is not constitutional. Zoning of
Oh, I think we're having an issue there.
It'd also be a perfect time to, introduce second virtual guest.
And we also have joining us virtually from Delta, the Executive Director of Value Rebirth and Empowerment Initiative, Pastor Edemo Egedebe, joining us virtually. Thank you for joining us, Pastor. Good morning.
Also, General, good morning. Okay. So. All right, so the conversation to you. Jennifer's given a breakdown of, the periods we've had the Northern presidency and the periods we've also had the Southern presidency. My question to you, she put a very striking question across to Barrister Paul Nyambe, that the issue of zoning is not exactly constitutional. So why is it that every election period we go back to the conversation of whether it's the turn of the North or the turn of the South? Why does this come up?
Well, like Barrister Paul Nyambe has said, it is not actually constitutional. It is just Nigerian politicians that introduced this, and it has come to be accepted. And because it's been accepted and practiced over the years, we need to stick to it for justice sake, so that there will be equity in the of the two divide of Nigeria, North and South. They've always seen that whenever it comes to the time of the South, the Northerners will always want to struggle to take over. As you look at the history, you realize that every time the Northeast is ruling, the South subsides. It just agrees to them, submits to the zoning arrangements, and yet when it comes to the time of the South, the Northerners will always say no, they are taking over again, as if they own Nigeria, which is not right.
Okay.
So let me bring this to Barrister Paul Nyambe. I think he's back. Barrister Paul, can you hear me?
It would also be nice to also introduce Pastor Dewo as well, since we have both of them ready.
Pastor Dewo, good morning. All right, Pastor Dewo joining us from Delta State. But I'd like to bring in Barrister Paul Nyambe on this one. You were talking about it not being constitutional, and but then it's been accepted, as mentioned by Dr. Okwe. It's been accepted over the years. But if we're looking at the statistics, we've seen that the North has had a longer tenure over the years. From 2007 to 2010, it was a reign of a Northerner. And then from 2010 to 15, that's 5 years. And then we had 2015 to 2023, another 8 years. And there's been discussions that the South can only have one term. And after the term, the North should have that. So if this isn't constitutional and it has come to be accepted, why is there such like a demarcation between the reigning years of the North and the South?
Well, as I was saying before that interruption, I would say clearly, the idea of ethnicity in Nigerian politics is also related with the idea of, religion. So these two factors are not exactly constitutional. They are the manipulations, I would say, manipulations of politicians who will definitely look for one reason or the other to justify their concentration, okay, in power. So political parties' arrangements are different from constitutional provisions. Some of the major political parties have come to recognize the Convention of Zoning, which, as we are well aware, generated the controversy within the People's Democratic Party, which is still brewing till this day. So, dividing the country into North and South does not in any way favor the interest. It is not in the interest of the country, if I must say it as it is. It is basically political machinations to favor certain individuals who want to, bargain for power or look for one reason or the other to make a case to advance their political interests. On the issue of the North and the South dichotomy, I will say clearly that over the years, has always leveraged on its population strength to, have an advantage when it comes to presidential elections. So that is why the politicians of Southern in this context will mean both the South, the Southeast, and all that against the North. It is just a way of coming together to see how to advance the interests of the other parts of Nigeria other than the North, so as to engender equity, as Dr. Upe has rightly mentioned.
Now, with just engendering equity, should we put that above quality? Should we put that above one who has capacity, and just for the sake of ensuring there's equality or equity?
Yeah. Can you hear us, Barrister Paul? Well, if we have Pastor Adewo ready, we would like Pastor Adewo. Good morning. Pastor Adewo, are you there? Okay, we seem to have a bit of a network issue. We'll also try to correct that. Pastor Adewo, good morning. Are you? Can you hear me?
Just in case I can't hear you too from my end.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We're asking concerning the Southern presidency, and also talking of Northern presidency, and the agreement to always have a rotation. Can you hear me now?
In case you are hearing me, I can't hear you.
Okay, while we try to sort that out, let's bring the question to you, Dr. Way, while we sort out that technical issue. Between the North and the South, talking of the zoning, should we always put that above competence and capacity?
It is more important to be concerned about capacity when we talk about rulership, because that will benefit the country in development and otherwise. But like I said before, because the politicians themselves have comes to institutionalize zoning, and Nigeria being a multi-ethnic country, we need to bend a little low to ensure that there is peace in Nigeria when it comes to choosing the president. It is left for the parties themselves that have agreed to this zoning arrangement to ensure that they throw up a capable hand, a competent flag bearer, presidential candidate who will deliver to the country.
But has it really presented an equal system or equity? We've seen that if we're talking of the North, talking of the South, there's the Southeast, the Southwest, the South-South. We have the Northeast, the Northwest, North Central. Has there truly been
even distribution of power
across these zones?
You and I know that that has not been the case because in reality, zoning favors some people, some groups, some ethnic groups, and some rich politicians, and those that can untwist the minorities, because they said, of numbers. Most of the time, the people that have the upper hand in numbers and money are able to clinch the presidency to the detriment of the other ethnic groups. Because, like you've said, if they're truly talking about zoning, then we should go back to the 6 geopolitical zones to ensure that it moves not just between north and south. It should go to maybe northeast this time, northwest, comes back to southeast, southwest, south, or it should go around. It should be a thing that should fit all the segments of the country if we're going to be just. But not just that when it comes to north, and you realize when it comes to north, there's a particular tribe that will always get the upper hand, while the other tribes are left in limbo.
Okay. All right. Barrister Paul Nyambi, can you hear me? Barrister Paul Nyambi. So, can you hear me now, Barrister Paul Nyambi? Can you hear me?
Okay. No.
Barrister Paul, can you hear me? We seem to be having a connection problem there. I'm not really sure Barrister Paul Nyambi can hear us well. But let's come to you, Dr. Okwe. The question I want to ask you is, if we agree, based on your analogy earlier about parity, about even distribution, you even talked about north-south, and in the two divides, we still have some minority sections of the country. If this is not factored into the conversation, then why is it that every time we have perhaps the presidency of a particular region, we have another region opposed to upholding the agreement which we say is not constitutional?
Well, like you've said, it is actually the selfish interest of one section of the country. We can't just talk about the presidency, the distribution from 1999? We should go back to the beginning. The North has ruled Nigeria longer than the South, because we're talking about Nigeria here. Since independence, we know that the North, I was trying to look at it before I came here, that the North has ruled the country for 45 years, 7 months, while the South has only ruled for 20 years, 5 months, because at least taking August 2026, which Tinubu has reached, we still have 1 year. But the fact is that you see that that's more than half, 45 years and 20 years. The South has not even ruled this country for half of the time that the North has ruled. The question is, why are they always angling to take over power? When the Northerner is on the saddle, they will allow him for 2 tenors. But when it comes to the South, once he takes 1 tenor, they will, request or demand that the thing comes back to the North. I believe that should be corrected, and that is not just.
We're in a period now where a lot of Nigerians, the predominant conversation has been the yearning for solution, government that addresses issues. And I've heard a lot of people say we have gone past the conversation of where the president should come from, since we're all looking forward to the solutions. You think Nigerians Nigerians, we've outgrown the conversation of regional politics?
We all look for solutions. It's important, like we talked about competency as began, that we should have a competent president. But you see, we can keep on talking till kingdom come. What the politicians have done or want to do is what they want to do. And some of us ordinary citizens have no power to be able to alter that. With time, that will happen. But for now, we have to stick to this equity thing. The solution, like we're saying here, we're not campaigning for anybody's second tenure. We're talking about the issue. We actually expect whosoever is on the saddle to be competent enough. Like I said, the parties should not just bring a nobody, somebody that does not have the know-how to steer a country like this, to bring development, to create opportunities for the citizens to enhance their life chances. They should bring somebody that is competent enough. And I believe competency will, like they say, results silence every insult. If the president who is there in power is able to deliver the goods, ensure that the citizens are satisfied, their needs are met, they are able to, feel satisfied, and I believe the question will not be there.
But what about issues of electoral dependence, kind of, or superiority, kind of? Because even when we get to talk of issues of southern and rotational presidency, there's always a discussion of always having some sect having an upper hand when it comes to population. And how does that resolve and push through the front of having rotational presidency?
Well, like they say, politics is a game of numbers. I know that the North has a larger population than the South. And apart from that has made them to claim the presidency as a birthright. And the colonial legacy that has been given to them. But the fact is that we cannot still allow that to happen, because we need to give every section of the country the opportunity to call the shots, to bring what they have to the table by choosing competent. I'm emphasizing on the need to choose competent people. And let me re-emphasize that if they're talking about zoning, let the zoning go back to cover all the geopolitical zones of Nigeria and ensure that whosoever is brought up is able to bring Nigeria to another level.
Dr. Okwe, you
not
said
to take us backwards.
You've in the course of analyzing this conversation, you've emphasized on competence. I heard you very clearly. You are very particular about, the word competence. That if competence is so much of importance to you and a lot of Nigerians, does it really matter where that competent person comes from? Because at the end of the day, what we all yearn for is governance. So does it really matter where the president, in 2027 comes from?
Nigeria is still developing, and the issue of ethnicity is still on the front burner. I know that one of the major problems of governance in Nigeria has been this issue of where I come from. Who is that person? Who is this? Like Professor Mulumba will say, that even when we know that somebody is a thief, we still want to vote for him. We still want him to be on the saddle, provided he is our thief. Provided is my brother thief. That's the problem of Nigeria. If we move beyond this point, and it will take political enlightenment, it will take a lot of, training, a lot of, I don't know what to say, political education to enable Nigerians to move beyond these ethnic sentiments, to know that we need anybody that comes up from any part of Nigeria that can give us what we want, that can move this country forward, then we should vote for that person.
That would mean that it doesn't matter which region.
Yes, it doesn't matter if Nigerians understand. If Nigerians are able to accept the fact that we need we're not, the issue of parties people will just vote because this is my party. We should come to the point of voting for a person, looking at the individual, what can he do? As they come up, I remember during the last election when these people were taken to Chatham House, in the manifestos they presented, somebody presented a better manifesto, but at the end of the day, we have another person ruling. And you know, it's something that saddens my mind every time. I believe the majority of Nigerians in the villages are not just concerned about what is this person doing. You know, like some of the policies, they say, oh, this person has done well, he has done well, and yet it has not brought food to our tables. It has even made our pockets to shrink.
Okay.
Our take-home pay cannot take us home. We're looking for people that can enable us to move from, you know, poverty to prosperity.
Okay. Dr. Ukbe, let me hold you for a moment there and see if we have Barrister Nyambi ready for us. But Barrister Nyambi, must apologize for the technical difficulty you're encountering, but can you hear us now, Barrister Nyambi? Barrister Nyambi? Okay, Pastor Edewo, it'd be nice to know if you can hear us now. Pastor Edewo, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I can hear you now.
All right. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, we've been speaking about issues surrounding the Southern presidency. And first, let's get your opinion. The issue of zoning and rotational presidency, is this like some electoral or party strategy, or this is just to bring in some form of equity and justice to the regions involved in the country?
Okay, for me, yes, it's it has to do with equity and justice. Even though it is not constitutional, it is not in our constitution, but when you talk about equity and fairness and justice, it's only fit and proper that when the Southern man govern this country for possibly a 2-term in office, then it goes to the North. That's only fair. It's only talk about, you know, the equality and of course the equity that has to go around. That's for me, that is it. You know, all along it is not constitutional, it is not in our constitution, but the practice has been there. It's a mutual thing. But you know, politicians who want to be politicians, you know, they will want to attribute a lot to themselves, you know, use the ethnicity, bigotry, then of course use the religiosity to want to make their voice heard. But all of that is selfishness. But when we talk about true Nigerian, you should live and let others live. So I believe that it's only fit and fair and proper that the South complete their tenure, 2 tenure, by having the presidency in the South. Then by the end of 2031, it goes back to the North again, and the North are allowed to do 8 years, then it comes back to the South. If it goes that way, it will be able to go around. And in it going to the North and South, it's also proper that when, you know, a geopolitical zone of the South gets it, by the next time it's coming, another geopolitical zone should also have, you know, a feel of it, so that it is not dominated, I mean, it's not domiciled in one part of either the South or the North. I think that's what fairness brings about.
Pastor Dewo, we've seen from analysis over the years that it hasn't been equitably distributed, and if the main aim is to ensure equity, which it has been defeated, why then continue with aspects of zoning if this hasn't met the desired intention?
Oh yeah, so for me, that is where a change of mindset is required. You know, in Nigeria, politicians have gone in a way that they believe that it's only what they say, what they think that is proper. But the generality of Nigeria is saying that, look, for equitable distribution, for equity, for federal character principle, let this thing go round. So for the South, we have, you know, a number of geopolitical zones here. You have the Southwest, the South-South, and the Southeast. That's the three. And same you have for the North. So if it comes to the South, let it go round. For instance, now in the South, it is in the Southwest. So the Southwest will do 8 years, for instance. Now, if Southwest do 8 by virtue of who wins 2027 election, maybe a Southeasterner, maybe wins it, then the South would have had their feel. Then it goes back to the North. We're only appealing to the conscience of politicians who feels that they know it all. They don't know it. We are speaking to their conscience to have a rethink. Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, Pastor Adele, our guest there, Dr. Okpe, has harped on a very critical aspect of governance, which is the issue of competence. And in the course of his analysis, he highlighted the importance of competence in governance. If competence is a very, very fundamental requirement in governance, why do you cry about regional politics and rotational presidency? After all, what we yearn for is governance and not where the person comes from.
Okay, even having agreed with that school of thought, when you say competence, competence is in abundance in Nigeria. When you talk about competence, you have competent people in the South, you have competent people in the South, the North. So when we are saying for equity's sake, for even distribution of power, so that people do not feel alienated one way or the other, there are competent people in the North and the South, for crying out loud. So we are saying that let this mindset be in us, that yes, when it gets to the South, let the best come out of the South part time. That's where competence talks about. Then when it goes to the North, it's equally same. But let us not say, because you look at it coming, because if you don't know where you are coming from, it's difficult to know where exactly you are going. We have a history of how this country has been governed by different, parts of the country. And that has also given people the reason to also agitate and also clamor. So in this clamor, we are saying that, look, for fairness, for justice, for equity, even if we are basing it on competence, which I agree with completely, let the most competent from each of the region and each of the zone comes out. That's what we are saying. I'm not against competence. I actually try, I believe more in competence, in capacity to deliver, not just all comers. No, we've not had it, in the way we should have it in Nigeria, because we believe that Nigerians are very brave and courageous people. But the political system that we have in our hands today do not really support competence. It supports more of mediocrity, and that's why we are not progressing as we should progress. So I agree with competence, but I also agree with this, a rotation thing, that the North and South divide.
Put this on the table. I'd like for you to begin to speak to it first, then I'll come back to Dr. Okpe. Now, Jennifer talked about the rotational, presidency, how it ought to be, the distribution. If we look at all the region, we've got some minority section in some regions that have not had the opportunity to even taste power. So if it is not constitutional, the issue of rotational presidency, it is a gentleman agreement and it's something that we've adhered to over time, why then are we not able to factor in the true sense of it, the rotational presidency, so that it covers even those areas where there have been agitations, even to the point of secession?
No, so that is what I speak to completely. Now, that's why I said earlier that the political climate in Nigeria from 1999 to date has not helped the well-being of this country. In fairness, just to be modest, because the people in power today believe that they have an all-knowing mentality, and they don't want to also even see this power. They want to live there in perpetuity if you give them the opportunity to do so. So I'm also saying that, look, for instance, in the South, you will see that, okay, we've had the Southwest have the presidency, we've had the South-South have the presidency. Now, it is only in the Southeast that the presidency have not come from. In the South, I'm speaking for the South now. But so in that school, in that fairness and equity that we are talking about, it's only fit and proper that, yes, the South should also at some point see this opportunity to the region that have not produced presidency. that will not break anybody's head. But because we are primitive in our own mindset, we believe that it must either be us or nobody else. That is why you see all of these shenanigans that are playing out daily. But I believe clearly, as we begin to engage, as we begin to speak to the sensibility and the consciousness of Nigerians, we may just get it at some point. That's what I think.
Get Barrister Paul Nyambi joining us once again. Barrister Paul, if you can hear us. Can you hear us, Barrister Paul? Okay, thank God you can hear us now. Now, this is agreed. It's not constitutional. But if this was some gentleman agreement, how can we then enforce it? Because there is no legal backing anywhere. And so I said what I said, but I changed my mind, and there is nothing you can do about it. How then can it be enforceable?
Well, thank you for that question. It's unfortunate that every 4 years, this melodrama repeats itself. And it seems to top the agenda when it comes to, campaigning for elections, which is very unfortunate. Campaigning on ethnic lines and on lines of tribalism should be criminalized. Why? Because it is not constitutional. So how then should ethnicity or tribalism top the agenda? We should be talking about competence. We should be talking about meritocracy. We cannot continue as a nation to sacrifice meritocracy on the altar of tribalism. It is very unfortunate. That is why our country, Nigeria, is not progressing. Our country, Nigeria, is not progressing. Okay, where, for instance, another part of the country has a candidate who has a profound manifesto, who has managerial skills, who has the requisite credentials to give Nigerians good governance, to deliver the dividends of democracy. And then another person who's from another part of the country that feels that it is entitled as a matter of convention to produce the presidency. And then people are now, swayed by ethnic persuasions to vote that person from their part of the country simply because it is a turn of, that part of the country, because they believe that, or because they have been made to believe that it is their part of the country that is entitled as a matter of convention to produce the president. They totally ignore the fact that the other candidate is better equipped, is better experienced, has the pedigree and integrity to deliver the dividends of democracy, but now toe the line of tribalism. It is unfortunate, and I feel that it should be criminalized. It should be provided clearly that campaigning on ethnic lines should attract, some punishment. So I know that this will be a difficult thing for politicians to do.
I'd like to put you a bit on the spotlight, Barrister Paul. Now, if there are two candidates, one from the north and one from the south, both competent, which would you elect? And in reality, is it possible to elect a president without having ethnic consideration in reality in Nigeria?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nigeria has a multi-ethnic setting, and that's why politicians are capitalizing on this, mostly for their selfish interest. Okay, mostly for their selfish interest. There are other countries that have this, dichotomies within them. Yet the issue of where a candidate or where a particular candidate originated from does not arise. In the Western world, we've had people from Nigeria win elections, local elections, even when they are not majority. That tells you that the world out there has moved beyond the question of one's maybe nation of originality or race and all that, or religion. So gradually, Nigeria can evolve, and that is only when we will be able to vote based on merit, elect leaders who have what to offer. If a leader has emerged as a matter of zoning, or because tribal sentiments favored him, as opposed to a candidate who has sincere intentions and who is mentally equipped, to deliver the dividends of democracy, the candidate who emerged as a matter of tribalism will definitely not focus on national interest, but will focus on tribal interest, which is what is topping the agenda in Nigerian politics today. And that now brings us to the issue of federal character. Let me use this opportunity to quickly differentiate. Federal character, which is provided in the Nigerian Constitution, is different from zoning. It is different from zoning. A few times I've seen people, misinterpret the idea or the provision of federal character in the Constitution and the issue of zoning. They are two different things. The purport of the provision of the Constitution on federal character is that where, for instance, the president is from the West, offices, appointments should be equitably distributed or decentralized so as to check this virus of tribalism, where, for instance, a president who is from the West will have 70% of political appointees, being from the same part of the country where he comes from. And I will tell you clearly, as someone who is not politically inclined, that over the years, that is what has been happening. Over the years, I can go on to mention instances. When President Jonathan was the president, for instance, we had so many political appointees from the South. And in the government of the day, where President Bola Tinubu, has been severally criticized by public affairs analysts as having so many appointees, directors of federal agencies, and so on, coming from the West, which is quite unfair. Now, the essence of political appointments, because when we talk about federal character, when we talk about zoning, in a way, it has to do with being able to strategically, equitably make appointments that will reflect the tribal setting of the country, and to distribute these appointments across the states of the federation. So let us endeavor to separate federal character from zoning. Zoning is illegal. Zoning has not done Nigeria any good. Zoning has brought retrogression to Nigeria. A president, for instance, who from all indications has performed below the expectations, who has not been able to live up to his manifesto, is now and then insists, because it is the turn of his region to produce the president, insists on getting elected and possibly re-elected. It is not the best for our country. Let us look at merit. And in 2026, Nigerians should look at merit. We shouldn't be talking about tribalism. Tribalism has not helped us as a nation.
All right. Barrister Paul Nyambe, let me just interject you for a moment there and bring this to Dr. Ogbe. You've listened to Barrister Paul Nyambe speak to these issues. In fact, he even took time to talk about the issue of federal character and the issue of zoning, which he says has not favored, the Nigerian. If that is anything to go by, why then do we have the sentiments of ethnicity, religion, and perhaps region play out every election period if zoning has not really favored?
The fact is that the foundation of Nigeria has caused this, has actually been the reason that ethnicity still plays a vital, most important determinant of the voting behavior of Nigerians. The Europeans that led the foundation of this country did not mean well. They didn't want this country to work. And of course, like Barrister Nyambe has said, in some countries where, number one, the original citizens there's a uniformity in the, the ethnic makeup. You realize there's unity. And they have been able to move beyond those sentiments. But as long as Nigeria is still crammed together with all the more than 300 ethnic groups, that problem will still be there. And the citizens themselves are not helping matters. Because, like I said before, when somebody gets into power, even when he is not performing, even when we know he's embezzling our funds, in fact, if somebody gets into power in Nigeria and he does not steal, his people will vilify him. Think about you go into maybe become president of Nigeria and you have not amassed so much wealth. When you come back, it's even from your very family. They will say you're a stupid man. You have gone there to block others. You have given other people opportunity. Like in America, that somebody finishes the presidency, if he didn't have the house to his, maybe it's there he will try to buy a house like Obama. But if, like Clinton had just one small house, that's where he went back to. But Nigeria, before you become finished as a councillor, they expect you to build houses, build this, and all that everywhere. And that's the problem. That encourages this mediocrity, that we are not able to look beyond that tribal thing and say, well...
So the problem is a Nigerian factor.
It's the Nigerian factor. The ethnicity problem has come to stay.
And we cannot outgrow it.
Correct it.
We cannot outgrow it. Even in 2027?
It's going to take time.
Okay.
2027 is very close.
Okay.
It's going to take time for us to outgrow ethnicity in Nigeria. It will take a lot of political education. It will take a lot of, maybe, let's believe God that somebody that is very competent, somebody that is very dispassionate, somebody that is very selfless, comes up and becomes the president. And he performs creditably well, and every part of the country, he benefits from his government. Maybe Nigeria will begin to rethink. I believe that's the only way. But if we think that, as we are now, that Nigerians will change their voting behavior, it may not be possible.
All right, I'll bring this to you, Pastor Edawo. Pastor Edawo, we're making preparations for 2027 election, and we would like to understand, because now it rests on political parties. Should political parties look on everything, have to bring in both, perhaps, rotational politics and also competence, or focus or prioritize competence more than any other thing? Pastor Edawo. Pastor Edawo, can you hear me? Okay, I'll bring this to you, Barrister Paul, if you can hear me. Ahead of the 2027, are we looking at both? Should we look at both or prioritize competence?
Barrister Paul?
Okay, well,
some technical. Jennifer has asked a very fundamental question, but I just want to rephrase it as I put it to you. Before she decided to ask our virtual guest the question, you had spoken about this biases, the sentiments that play out in every election. As we go into 2027, do you suppose that these sentiments, that are deeply entrenched, will allow Nigerians choose one over the other? She mentioned competency. She mentioned, ethnicity, religion. This deeply entrenched sentiments and biases, will it allow Nigerians prioritize one over the other?
In reality, like I've said, Nigerians will still vote the same way. Already, you see what is going on. The campaigns, even though the campaign is supposed to start this month, all the posters, the groups formed and all that still goes to, encourage this issue of ethnicity. And as far as Nigerians still think one way, I don't have so much hope for 2027.
It will change.
End at the end of the day to continue with the same rot. As long as politicians have, weaponized poverty, they still can rent a crowd to sing their praises until we are able to lay foundation, a solid foundation of ensuring that Nigerians are not beggars.
Okay.
That everybody have at least food on their table. Because I don't think, I was talking to my students, I said, assuming all of us here in this class have 10 million naira in our accounts, will it be possible for somebody to tell you, come and vote for somebody you know? Nigerians know this person is not competent, but because they dangle 2,000 or 5,000 in their throat, or they bring rice, because rice has become the zing thing now. Anything happens, rice is being shared. Because of for hunger and poverty, if it comes to a point that Nigerians are taken care of, you work and the money, what is being produced, you sell and you're making goods, making profit. Definitely, the politicians will not take us for this ride.
Okay. Barrister Yambi, question to you as we look to wind up the conversation. 2027 is just about a corner. Campaigns begin sometime this month. Do you think this biases, this ethnic considerations and sentiments will play an important role in determining the emergence of a president in 2027?
Well, thankfully, the Independent National Electoral has released a timetable, regarding the elections, and from August 19, campaigns will commence vigorously. I see clearly that ethnic politics continue to top the agenda, campaigning on ethnic lines continues to top the agenda. However, I am hopeful that by virtue of the fact that our constitution has made it clearly that for a candidate to emerge as elected for the office of president, that candidate must not only have the simple majority of votes, but must also be able to win across at least 25 states of the federation. So that is what will also keep the major contestants on their toes to ensure that they do not limit their campaigns on any grounds. Because if they do that, of course, how will they be able to fulfill the constitutional requirement to be declared as elected? So we have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who's a major candidate who's from the north. We have the incumbent, the president. We have Mr. Peter Obi, who's also from the south. And so the dynamics of this very election will be a bit different from what we saw in 2023. In 2023, it was a full-scale campaign of, ethnicity, and then political factors also played out, where, Mr. President emerged after a very keenly contested election that also resulted in a very serious after-election litigation at the Election Petition Tribunal. So I have seen that the North, for instance, most of the key politicians in the North are not supporting Alhaji Atiku Abubakar because they have come, many of the major, actors from the North have come out to either embrace the APC, the NDC, and then we have a few in the PDP. So it makes the electoral scenario very, very interesting. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm sure that there will be shockers for all of us as the elections draw near.
Thank you, Barrister Paul Nyambi, for joining us for this conversation. Thank you, Pastor Edewo, though the network can let us converse with you some more. And also thank you, Dr. Pei, for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take some social media reactions with regards to this issue. And on social media, we have had some comment. This is from Falcon XX. Says, Southern and Middle Belt leaders are right to insist the presidency stays in the South for 2027. North had its full 8 years under Buhari. Fair is fair. Complete the Southern turn and for real balance and stability. Zoning isn't just talk. It's how we've kept this country together since 1999. No shortcuts. That's Falcon XX. And also we've had this one from Masudo Tijani. Says, I get why Southern and Middle Belt leaders are firm on keeping the presidency in the South come 2027. Power shift isn't a joke. One term for the South after Buhari's long run just feels incomplete. All right. From Millennial Old Man, respect to the Southern and Middle Belt leaders. They are saying the presidency must remain in the South for another term. Zoning worked since 1999 for a reason. Don't break what keeps the peace. That's from the Old Man. And from Honorable Real One says, honestly, the Southern and Middle Belt leaders insisting on a Southern president for 2027 just feels logical. Rotation is the only thing that kept this country from boiling over. Wow. And also, Donatello says, some people act surprised that Southern and Middle Belt leaders want the presidency to stay in the South. Bro, after 8 Northern years, what did you expect? Complete the circle. All right, and those are some social media. Gentlemen, for sharing your insights with us on this.
Thank you again, Dr. Ukwe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Paul Nyami, and also thank you to Pastor Adele, even though the network was